I'm Eric Reeser. Despite a historic 5-sack performance from Myles Garrett, the Browns lost in New England yesterday 32-13. Cleveland falls to 2-6 with the loss. New England 6-2. Kevin Stefanski says Dylan Gabriel will remain the Browns quarterback after they come off the bye. Maybe a more painful Sunday for the Bengals. Cincinnati lost at home to the previously winless New York Jets 39-38. Bengals led 24-13 at the half, but lost Trey Hendrickson with a hip injury. And Justin Fields led Gang Green to scoring drives on 3 straight possessions in the fourth quarter. Last night in Pittsburgh, the Packers beat the Steelers 35-25. Week 8's going to wrap up tonight in Kansas City with the Chiefs hosting the Commanders. No Jaden Daniels for Washington. Marcus Mariota will get the start. You can hear that game on the Fan following the Buckeye Show. In college hoops, Ohio State beat Ohio University 103-74 yesterday in an exhibition game, and LSU fired Brian Kelly. This update sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Monday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. A Cadillac job comes open coming up at 9:30. 10:30, Austin Ward joins as he does every single Monday. 11 o'clock, we blitz the weekend. 11:30, Bill Bender, because apparently every job in college football is going to come open between now and the end of the season. But we begin on a solemn note, paying homage to the late, great Nick Mangold. I didn't know Nick. I didn't know him. I interviewed him a couple of times. But I knew his reputation, and I knew the way that the folks who were close to him felt about him. I've talked to Bob about him through the years many, many times. And you think about that era of Buckeye football and what it represented for so many, and Nick was at the center of all of it, quite literally. This is a kid from Centerville who played at Alter, who then became an Ohio State Buckeye, and then went to the New York Jets, and had really one of the great Ohio State pro careers. 2-time first-team All-Pro in 9 and 10, a second-team All-Pro in 11. So that's 3 of them. That gets you close to gold jacket stuff. 7-time Pro Bowl. That helps get you to gold jacket stuff. Recently inducted into the New York Jets Ring of Honor. He is a legend in New York with the Jets fan base in that area. I was doing a little bit of reading of some of the things that he had done post his career and coaching youth football, family. That's at the center of all of it, friends and family and all of it. When the news broke, I want to say it was on October 14th when it went public, that that he was in dire need of a liver transplant. You just thought, my God, how did this happen so quickly? And I think most people thought that it would take a lot more, that you had a little bit of time, had no idea it was as dire as it was for Nick. I am heartbroken for those that were close to him. A collective Buckeye Nation mourns, and it's just too damn soon. It's just too damn soon at 41. And it's funny, that group was done by the time I got here. But you think about the importance of that group and what they were trying to get accomplished, and you think about Tress winning that national title in the second year, and then that class with Bob and AJ and those groups of teams that had Nick on them, and then James and those guys came a little bit later, and Heartline and all of it. They are so much part of the fabric of what this team is, and I think of Nick and that group that were, especially those who were Ohioans, who then decided to wear the scarlet and gray and represent it at the level that it did. He's a Titan. in Buckeye history. He's a Titan in New York Jets history. He's a father, a husband, a friend, a coach, and everything else in between. And it was just stunning to hear the news on Sunday morning, to see the reaction to it. I'm sure you've no doubt seen by now Rex Ryan, his former coach, former players, people who knew him, and just reduced to just a puddle of tears. And you can't help but be reduced to a puddle of tears when someone loses their life at age 41. You guys obviously grew up around here. This would have been at the center of your Buckeye fandom when you were young. Certainly for you, Reese, and Bake, your appreciation for those teams is never lost on anyone around here. And so it was an incredible blow on Sunday to get that news. Yeah,
he's, one of the Buckeyes in my formative years. When he gets put in, I think San Diego State game in 2003, I want to say it was. Just when the news comes out and you see all of the tributes and you kind of go back and do some reading, it really does take you into the Wayback Machine because, as I grew up with Ohio State, Nick Mangold was a large part of that. And those teams that you mentioned, those Jim Tressel teams with Jim Bowman running those kinds of offenses that really showcased how good of a football player he was. And then you keep up with him. Him, it was Nick and Brick with DeBrickashaw Ferguson on those Jets offensive lines. And you keep up with them. And you see from around the league, from around the football world, just how many people recognize Nick Mangold for not only an awesome player, but awesome person. And that continues throughout his playing career. When his playing career's done, how he's still kind of involved in football's orbit. And I don't usually point to Rex Ryan, but when he has, the reaction that he did to the passing, to the sudden, shocking, and terrible passing of Nick, that just is a microcosm of how everybody felt about that man. And it's truly one of the sadder losses because it happened so sudden and he's so young at 41. And yeah, when the news comes out about him needing a kidney transplant, you don't know how quickly it can happen. And
no one thought this, Reese.
Yeah,
that's 11 days between I'm in dire need publicly to the untimely end. You just never. I don't think anybody thought it was going to happen that quickly.
We've mentioned it a couple times, so I want to play Rex Ryan's Nick Mangold reaction before I say anything.
That's just it's brutal. It's such a great young man. I had the pleasure of coaching him for all 6 years with the Jets. And I remember it was obvious I was getting fired. My last game, Mangold's injured. And he comes to me and says, I'm playing this game. And he wanted to play for me. That's what I remember about this kid. He was awesome and just way too young. I feel so bad for his wife and family.
When I hear that just tells you the kind of human that Nick Mangold was. And I think it's very easy for us to do, and we forget about this all the time, that these players and coaches, they're human. Like, there's real relationships involved in this, and they signed up for everything they do. But when we fire head coaches and get people move on and players get traded, those are real emotions in those rooms, and those people are connected. And a lot of times those rooms are closer than family. They spend more time together than family. And I think it's easy for us to forget that part of sports, that they're real people, real emotions, all of that stuff. If I'm not mistaken, Bo, Mangold was part of Tressel's first recruiting class. Tressel got the job for the 2001 season, and I believe that first real recruiting class was that class that were freshmen on the national championship team. And I remember that class was such an Ohio class. You remember the linebackers. It was so strong with Bobby and AJ and Mike DeAndrea, but Nick was a part of that class, and those guys played a lot as freshmen. Whether it be injuries or coming in at the end of games, Nick got a lot of action in that first season. And there were a lot of Buckeye teams before, but that team, I think to a lot of people, will, of all ages, hold a special place in their heart because they were the first one that had won a national championship in a long time. Even if you were alive for the 68 national championship, it had been a long, long time since you've had one. And there was a lot of heartbreak in between. There was a lot of teams that you thought were good enough in the 90s and didn't get there because of that team up north or a game against Michigan State and whatnot. And so that team holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts for multiple reasons. One, because they were the first in a long time, but two, because a lot of them were Ohio guys. So there were a lot of strong ties. And I never got to meet Nick, never had any interactions with him, but everything you hear, he was just the best guy and would play through anything. And it's just very sad. And you heard that he needed a kidney transplant, and you're like, well, this is good. He's going to get one. He's going to be okay.
Yeah,
and then
we'll
all of a sudden, what was it, 11 days later?
Yeah.
We get this, and it's just shocking to see.
Yeah, it's it's brutal. And he will be missed in our thoughts and prayers with his wife, Jennifer, their children, a collective Buckeye Nation, those who were friends, those who knew him only because he represented the Scarlet and Gray in the best way that you could, not just as a player, but post his career, his professional career, everything he did in his personal life. All of the boxes were checked. Nick Mangold gone way too young at the age of 41. And we'll be right back.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony. Wouldn't you want to drive into the new season with a brand new Honda from Germain Honda of Dublin? You can lease the 25 Honda Accord LX for just $199 a month or finance at 3.99% APR. Or the 26 Honda CR-V LX all-wheel drive, leasing from only $319 a month or finance from 4.99% APR. These fall deals are fantastic. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or you can shop online anytime at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
It's officially fall at Firehouse Subs. The Thanksgiving turkey sub is back. This sub brings all the flavors of the Thanksgiving table into one crave-worthy bite. Stacked high with premium carved turkey, savory stuffing, and cranberry sauce. The ultimate holiday comforts in a sub. Hurry to Firehouse Subs today and try the Thanksgiving turkey sub before it's gone. Limited time at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants while supplies last. Planning a tailgate or game day spread? Firehouse Subs Catering makes it easy to feed the whole crew.
You ever feel like your money is just lying around? Switch to Huntington Bank, and your money is always doing something.
Like what?
Like automatically pushing more to savings so you can take that trip.
I like trips.
Who doesn't? It even tracks your progress. You're almost there.
Well, I better pack.
And it charts your spending so you know which vacation hat you can afford.
How does it know I like hats?
Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
With autumn's arrival, ISA-certified arborists recommend that fallen leaves be left alone or mulched to improve plant health. When leaves decay, they transform into organic matter absorbed by the soil to become moisture to trees through their roots, which helps trees weather drought conditions. Leaves are also a natural habitat for butterflies, chipmunks, earthworms, and others, which increases the population of beneficial insects for the next growing season. To learn more about the benefits of autumn leaves, contact an ISA-certified arborist near you by going to trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. We kick off the work week with temperatures in the low 60s. And then for tonight, partly cloudy skies with our lows swing to the upper 30s to low 40s. For Tuesday, more sunshine in the forecast with highs around 60. Next chance of rain develops early into Wednesday morning, and it'll be a chillier day to kick off midweek. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
It's Reaction Monday, where our highly trained experts talk football.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
Your home for reaction and overreaction, The Fan. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
What a crazy sports weekend that was. I don't know how you guys ended up. I mean, the NFL on Sunday was just completely drunk. I mean, just the Miami Dolphins housing the Falcons, the Ravens without Lamar housing the Bears. I mean, there were so many things. What happened in Cincinnati? We'll get to that a little bit later on. So many things that were just shocking in the National Football League. I think
the Texans.
There you go. Texans hammering the 49ers. I think last week I was maybe 13-2 or something like that. I think this going into tonight, I think I've only got 4 right. 3 or 4 right. I mean, it's a disaster on the NFL side of things. And the college football had craziness too. How did you guys how did you navigate a Buckeye-less weekend?
So me personally, I checked out on college football on Saturday for the most part. I played in that golf outing with my dad and Jackets Saturday night. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. I told you, I think I texted you guys on our second hole, we got an eagle. And I was like, well, at least we may have a shot at some skin money here. Yeah. Yeah, 4 groups eagled that hole that day, so no skin money, but it was a good time. We had fun. But, yeah, so I was, other than, checking highlights and paying attention to some scores from afar, I was kind of out on college football this weekend. I did pay attention to the NFL a little bit. I was here yesterday. Tyvis was doing his Browns stuff from here, so I was here, and then Buckeye Hoops, so I was in here kind of watching those guys get the Buckeye Hoops game going yesterday. So I was paying attention to the NFL some, but I was out on college football.
I was in for the Bobcats in Eastern Michigan.
There you go.
That was about it until Saturday night, just kind of out and about all day Saturday. Eastern Michigan plays on a gray football field, and it is ugly.
Bold choice.
It is ugly as hell. It is. I don't even think Boise State should have their field colored. Like, don't do it. But this was of the weekends. You've said this ever since I've been working with you that Ohio State's the warm blanket. Mm-hmm. And this weekend, I don't think it was any truer than what happened this weekend.
Oh, God, yeah. When you think of the football, we're representing 71 North and South. Yeah, it's you need that Buckeye warm blanket. I'll tell you, I ended up watching the 3:30 window. End of the 3:30 window. I played golf Saturday and Sunday. The boys and I did. I played with NBC and I on Saturday. It was unbelievable. We're the only ones on the course. It was just a stunning fall Ohio day. Crisp, little vest, quarter zip type situation, long pant. He and I played 9. Got it. There wasn't anybody out there. We just cruised around. It was awesome. And then yesterday, I rolled the dice and I made a tee time for 3:00. And I thought, I think I'm going to be safe to be able to do this. There's probably nothing else I need to consume in the NFL after 3 o'clock. Have a feeling that this Browns game was a tough matchup for them, obviously, with what New England is. So me and all three of the boys went out and played yesterday, and played 9 as well. But Saturday, after we golfed, we went out to dinner. One of my favorite things to do is a nice dinner in a place with televisions. So we were able to watch the end of the 3:30 window, which was incredible. The SEC stuff was unbelievable this weekend. I mean, Texas needing overtime to beat Mississippi State without Arch Manning. He gets hurt pretty severely, it looked to me like. Probably concussed is probably the way that thing kind of looks. And then the backup comes in and throws a touchdown that ends up kind of sealing it as Mississippi State just kind of gives it all up. The Vanderbilt-Missouri game, Vanderbilt winning that, but Missouri completing a Hail Mary down to the 1-yard line as time expired on that one. Ole Miss battling and beating Oklahoma in Norman after they had a big lead and gave it all up, and then had a nice fourth quarter to take care of it. Bama, South Carolina up the whole way, and then Bama in 2.5 minutes comes all the way back and wins by 7. That one was great. Texas A&M buried LSU, and in the process buried Brian Kelly as well. So the SEC really delivered. I've said this to myself Saturday. I've got to separate my personal bias with Indiana from the reality. And it's hard because I see that logo and I see that brand and I just think they can't possibly be this good. And they go to Oregon and win. I'm like, it can't. It's got to be fluky. What are we doing? Like, you're Indiana, for God's sakes. And I've got to, it's on me because all that guy does is beat the brakes off of everybody they play. They annihilate people. This was not. There's no mercy, Bake.
I love it.
I mean, he just bludgeons people, them. And I've got to be better because all he does. I picked against him. Picked him not to cover this weekend. 25.5. Certainly, UCLA scores on everybody. They'll score on them. Nope, not at all. 35-3 at half. And then Cignetti's like, you know what? That's not quite enough. Let's keep going. 56-6.
Let's hit the gas.
God. It's a scene, man. And you could make, I take the Buckeyes every time over them. One of the boys asked me, what do you think will be favored over Indiana when we play them in the Big Ten championship game? And I said, I don't know. It feels to me like 8.5, but that might be too generous. I have got to put some respect on that name because what they do on a week-in, week-out basis, and this one was just overwhelming. I'm so glad AR got to see it. He went over there to the alma mater and got to see it. That was very, very cool. But they're a football school, kids.
Yeah, it's been, the 80s? They won their basketball championships. So you got several generations that
86, yeah.
No remembrance of Indiana being a dominant basketball school. Instead, it's this. Mm-hmm. This is kind of the introduction to, if you've never heard of an Indiana or don't know what a Bloomington is, they're the team that this was a vacuum out football game that I had on along with OU Eastern Michigan. And every time I looked at that damn Fox box, it was like Indiana scored another touchdown. Yeah. Either a pick six or, they're throwing it all over the place. They're running it everywhere. They've got 2 Mendozas now. Like, this will be a lot of fun if it does end up Ohio State, Indiana in the Big Ten championship. Because Kurt Cignetti's out there to make statements every week. And it feels like it's just going to keep rolling that way. It's so funny to think of Indiana as this dominant football power, but that's kind of where we have to be now.
Isn't Bloomington what you order at Outback before as an appetizer? But, yeah, I don't know why a 56-6 win over UCLA was like, wow. This is the moment. Like, yep, they're probably the second best team in the country for me. Maybe it was because UCLA was hot and they seemed to have some momentum after the shift. Nico had been playing well. And we've talked about teams coming from the West Coast to East. It has not been as good as the other way around. Like, teams going East to West, I don't really factor that in anymore. But the other way seems to really be something. I don't know if that had a factor in this game. I don't think it did. Indiana just, I don't know if I think it's just him. I don't know if maybe they're doing that because they have something to prove, because nobody puts any respect on them because of who they are, and people think basketball first. But I tend to think it's just Cignetti. I think that's just the way he is. He's like the Conor McGregor of college football right now, and I know you weren't fond of him, Bo. I love it. As long as he keeps backing it up, I'm going to love every minute of it. And I hope, like Reese said, I hope that's the matchup in Indy the first weekend of December.
And the thing that it does for Ohio State fans who are probably still like, oh, Indiana, they haven't really played. They haven't played too much. It's been close against Iowa. I'm not sold on Indiana yet. What the Hoosiers being this good and what Cignetti being this chesty does is it allows Fox to look and say, okay, there's another option for Big Noon.
Well, they got to do what ESPN does with Vanderbilt. That's what they got to do. Yeah. They got to promote the heck out of it. They got to do it. CBS has got to do it. NBC's got to do it. They've got to put all of their might behind Indiana football. Buckeyes don't need their might. But the ESPN has done a spectacular job with Vanderbilt football of elevating the perception of it. And then Vanderbilt football wins some games, right? And so that helps. But Vanderbilt is not Indiana. And Vanderbilt's having an amazing year. That's a nice win for them, beating Missouri. They're now in a spot where it feels like they could, someone's going to get in. I don't know what's going to happen at the SEC. It feels like Ole Miss is going to be locked in now because their schedule gets pretty easy from this point going forward. They've kind of threw the tough ones. But several of those teams are going to get in, and it's up to the television partners of Indiana to let it be known. Because you remember what happened last year when they went to Notre Dame and everybody on ESPN on that desk took shots at Indiana as they were a fraud because they didn't play anybody. By the way, some of that's on Cignetti. He shouldn't be bailing out and playing Virginia. He should be playing those teams. That's on him a little bit. They're non-conference, Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, and then that's what they're doing going forward. That ain't right. Not if you want to be on this level. If you're the number 2 team in the country, then play people out of conference. So that's on him. But at the same time, they need to be promoted in a way that ESPN promotes Vanderbilt.
Bo, we're going to know in the next 3 weeks here for sure the answer on this. But have we been sleeping on Iowa?
Well, nationally, a lot of people have been sleeping on. They've been sleeping on Iowa. They've been sleeping on Washington. Washington's still not ranked. Iowa not ranked. Yeah, I mean Iowa's
8 points from a perfect season here against ranked teams.
They lost
one of them Indiana.
They lost by 5 to Indiana. They lost by 3 to Iowa State. They beat the brakes off of Minnesota. I'll tell you what, you're going to find out if you're sleeping on Iowa. They get Oregon this week.
No, it's 2 weeks. They're on a bye this week.
Oh, that's bye? Okay, bye week, and then they get Oregon.
They get Oregon,
was sluggish,
then they go to USC.
Yeah, and they were sluggish against so both of them have byes. Oregon was sluggish against Wisconsin. Both of them have byes, and then they play each other. Oregon's remaining schedule at Iowa, Minnesota at home, USC at home, at Washington. Boy, you can maybe afford to lose one more, but that's probably it. All right, 2 minutes from now, a Cadillac job comes open, and it is Penn State week. We will get to all of that coming up in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Another summer is ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time, maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Tri-State Men's Health and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Hey, it's Anthony. Wouldn't you want to drive into the new season with a brand new Honda from Germain Honda of Dublin? You can lease the 25 Honda Accord LX for just $199 a month or finance at 3.99% APR. Or the 26 Honda CRV LX all-wheel drive, leasing from only $319 a month or finance from 4.99% APR. These fall deals are fantastic. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or you can shop online anytime at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Hey friends, Beamer here. In the spirit of Halloween, Awaken 180 is offering free consultations. Learn how scary fast and how scary easy losing weight can be. For mine, I brought all the questions, and in the end, Awaken 180 was an absolute no-brainer for me. Determine if Awaken 180 is right for you. The free consultations end October 31st. Reserve by phone only at 844-346-1800. For details and the number, visit awaken180weightloss.com. Scary easy with scary fast results.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
And here's what's up on a Monday edition of the program. It is Penn State week, and ironically, it is also maybe no longer the number one job still available. Penn State will come in here on Saturday, a 20.5-point underdog. They will do so with an interim head coach. They will do so without Drew Aller. They will do so limping in. They will do so with an eye to the future. And I think for a lot of folks over in Happy Valley, the thought was, well, yeah, we're going to be the best job that's available. And I think for the most part, it probably was until yesterday. And this changed. When I was in the South, I would not have said that LSU was a better job than Penn State or that LSU was a better job than Florida. But you can say that now, and you can say it emphatically. LSU, that football program, has won 3 national championships in the last 20 years with 3 different coaches. So that's a program. Saban elevated the program to that point. He won the first national title. And then you win national titles with Les Miles and Ed Orgeron, and that's a program. And so Brian Kelly gets his buyout. It'll be $54 million. It's bigger than James Franklin's. It's slightly less than the number that Texas A&M had to pay Jimbo Fisher. When I say slightly, I mean $20 million less than what they had to pay Jimbo Fisher to not coach at Texas A&M. It is a Cadillac job. It's probably it's definitely a top 8 job in the country. You can obviously win national championships there. I'll tell you something else, and I was dead wrong on this, guys. Because I listened to people in college football who told me that there wasn't any money and that these athletic departments and these boosters were taxed. Well, it turns out they're not. They're not taxed. These boosters aren't taxed at all, because when you write checks like this, and now you're talking about checks like this being written at Penn State, checks like this being written at Florida. They're getting ready to write a check at Florida State. They wrote a big check now at LSU. When you think of the money that has been written to pay off coaches not to coach, it is staggering stuff. I don't want to hear anything about folks saying that there's no money in the banana stand, because there's always money in the banana stand, and this is the latest example of that. Here's the thing on this. Portnoy made this point, and it's dead on. Who hired him? That was a bad hire from Jump Street, and everybody knew it. When they announced the hiring of Brian Kelly, we all went, wait, what? Brian Kelly to LSU? Have you observed him at Notre Dame? You think he's going to go down there to that snake pit and win? At the age, all of it, none of it fit. And then he had that crazy thing at the basketball game, my family, that whole thing. It just was never a fit. And now these stories are coming out about various things that happened in terms of in the transition, how he didn't talk to any of the coaches, and all this stuff is coming out. Everyone could have seen this coming. This was never going to be a fit down there for him. He was never going to work down there. And whoever made that hire, I assume that person is without a job too, because now you got to find another coach. And this one goes to the top of the list now, guys. This is the best one. So you want to know who had the best weekend in the sport? My boy Lane Kiffin. He went to Norman and won. He talked smack to a defensive player in the postgame on CBS or on ESPN. And then after he was done with that, another job came open that he will. This is one I think he could say no to Florida. I don't know if he can say no to LSU.
And I wonder if Kurt Cignetti might have signed his contract a little too early.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
Could Cignetti pull off the extra Cajun accent?
He's probably too smart to do it.
It's Scott Woodward is the athletic director at LSU. He is currently the athletic director at LSU. He was hired in 2019.
So that's him.
His hiring, he hired Kim Mulkey, and he also hired Brian Kelly. So he also hired Jay Johnson for their baseball. So he's 2 of 3.
Yeah.
But this one, everybody, I think, to your point, said, no, this isn't going to work here. And Kelly proved it. And I also wonder, for any school, now that, you also have kind of similar buyout bag for James Franklin, like this would even, if you were kind of like, well, PE money could be good for the Big Ten, like now, like don't do this because there is the money. You just have to have the enthusiasm to spend it.
It almost seems like expectations are coach killers, right? Because the expectations for Penn State were high this year.
That's a good point.
And they were justified, right? But they have not performed up to what the expectations were. He's gone, and that James Franklin's gone, and that has just started a domino effect here because nobody wants to be left out of the musical chairs here in this coaching carousel. And you're right, Kiffin had a hell of a weekend this weekend, pulling off that win and having those jobs open. And I got to tell you, there's something about Lane Kiffin. I don't know why. I talked about this, like some players in certain jerseys and numbers just look right.
Yeah.
There's something about Kiffin in my head as the head coach of Florida that just looks right to me. But I think it'd be crazy not to take this LSU job. If he has the pick of the litter and they want him, I think he'd be crazy not to take it.
Well, I think this is, I think the reason you feel that way with him at Florida is because he's almost like the spiritual animal of Spurrier.
2.0.
Yeah, I mean, he's the next guy who does that. I mean, you guys saw that post game. Did you see that clip with him with the Oklahoma linebacker when he pulled him in?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This guy said we couldn't score, like in the middle of
chirping at him a couple times during the game. And
Lane, I didn't think you could either. So just say I didn't think you'd score on that defense either.
No problem. It's fine. It's totally fine.
There's Lane Kiffin with a visor, and you're like, wow, that does work.
Yeah, it fits perfectly at Florida.
Shirt off with the yoga girls.
It's perfect. Yeah, to me, this is the one. This would be the one where he would have to think very long and hard about. Now, he's got a job now that they're going to have to pay him even more to continue to coach, and he could stay there and have statues out front, all of that stuff. I mean, he could be their guy, but there is a ceiling, I think, at Ole Miss that there isn't at LSU. And the last time around, it was 2 times ago. Yeah, because what would this have been? Yeah, because Kelly was hired wasn't he hired at LSU when they tried hiring Tom Herman? Herman had his choice between Texas and LSU. Because didn't he replaced Orgeron?
Kelly replaced Orgeron.
Okay, so then those jobs were open at the same time. And Herman had his pick between Texas and LSU. So Kelly's been there a minute.
Herman was hired in 2017 at Texas. So it might have been a year. Because Kelly was 19, I think, at LSU.
Okay.
Speaking of Texas.
Go ahead. That's where we were going next.
I mean, is Sark long for that job? Are these NFL? If you're an NFL team, what do you want Sark for right now? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But, I mean, what if Texas comes open in this coaching hiring now?
I swear that Texas and LSU were open at the same time. But maybe they weren't.
I thought Herman got hired at Texas before Kelly at LSU.
So Herman did get hired at Texas before, but LSU was hired.
Maybe
Les Miles was fired in 2016 in September of that year, so they were open at the same time. To your point,
No. Yeah,
Texas and LSU were.
Okay, they were both open in
16.
And
maybe it was after Herman got fired. Maybe they were open again.
So they were both open in 16, and then were they both open again at the same time when Sark replaced Herman? Either way. The Sark news. And listen, he can deny it all he wants, and his agents can deny it all they want. Diana Rossini is not putting that out into the universe unless she has it. That was given to her by either a general manager or an agent or somebody in the NFL. She's reached that level of NFL insider. So she's not putting that in a notes column on a Sunday. You have to think of her the same way you think of Schefter and Pelissaro and all of those guys. She's in that level. So she's getting it directly from somebody in the league that Sark wants it known that he wants to coach in the NFL. And then so for him to come out and deny it, I don't believe him for a second. I'm sure that's out there for a reason. And by the way, I don't blame anybody for not wanting to coach in college football right now, other than for the money. I mean, this thing's a mess.
Maybe she got it from Sark because he doesn't want people asking about their performance on the field right now.
It could be. It could exactly be that. But that's a massive job open, and there could be more. I don't know if there'll be anything that tops LSU unless Sark leaves. Then Texas would top it. But those are LSU, Penn State, Florida. That's getting after it.
How quickly are Missouri, Arizona State, SMU, Tulane, South Florida, how quickly are they all trying to get their coaches locked up right now?
Well, and there's no way of locking up some of them. Like, you're not going to have, like, if you're Clark Lee at Vanderbilt,
yeah,
you know, you're Dillingham at Arizona State, you're Drinkwitz at Missouri. Like, these are jobs these are massive. Not just in terms of what you can do, but in terms of compensation. Look at these buyouts.
So Jimmy Sexton represents Steve Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin.
Of course he does.
So
he represents everybody.
Bo,
who in the sport does he not? He's going to benefit more than anybody.
Brian Kelly is Trace Armstrong.
Oh, there you go. So. Yeah, he had Urban. Urban was Trace too.
To your point on the buyouts, $170 million spent in buyouts already this season.
Jeez.
And those are just buyouts. That's not including, hey, we're going to have to pay money to bring new coaches and new staffs in. And that's probably not buyouts to assistant coaches either. That's just the head man.
No, you think about Kelly, if it's 54 and then it's probably another 6 or 7 in staff, you're over 60, and then it's going to be $75 million over 7 years for the new guy. It's a $125 million decision if you're LSU. Same thing with Penn State to make those type of hires. That's how big of a deal it is. Busy sports weekend across the board. We'll get into all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
It's officially fall at Firehouse Subs. The Thanksgiving turkey sub is back. This sub brings all the flavors of the Thanksgiving table into one crave-worthy bite. Stacked high with premium carved turkey, savory stuffing, and cranberry sauce. The ultimate holiday comforts in a sub. Hurry to Firehouse Subs today and try the Thanksgiving turkey sub before it's gone. Limited time at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants while supplies last. Planning a tailgate or game day spread? Firehouse Subs Catering makes it easy to feed the whole crew.
James Laurinaitis here from my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located at Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
College football is more chaotic than ever. New rivals, new rules, and a brand new season of Fansville. Are you fan enough to handle the drama? Then grab an ice-cold Dr. Pepper from your local Kroger and buckle up for the season. College football. It's a Pepper thing. College football fans, listen up. You can catch Carnell Tate and Dr. Pepper on November 17th. We'll be at the new Kroger at 7525 Gardwell Street in Powell from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Stop by to get your photo with Carnell Tate. See you there.
A government shutdown affects everybody. It means missed paychecks for our troops. It means delays for critical services for ordinary Americans. And it disrupts the work Congressman Mike Carey does to deliver results for his constituents. Like voting for the Social Security Fairness Act to get public servants like police, firefighters, and teachers their full Social Security benefits on time and without delay. Mike Carey also voted for a continuing resolution to keep the government open while budget negotiations continue. It passed the House with bipartisan support, but failed to pass the Senate, and the government still shuttered. Congressman Mike Carey urges our senators to put politics aside and reopen our government before innocent Americans are harmed further by the shutdown. To learn more about Congressman Mike Carey's bipartisan efforts to reopen our government, call Congressman Carey's office at 614-927-6902 or visit carey.house.gov. Paid for with official funds from the office of Mike Carey.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of our specialties here at Pella Wilson is getting rid of old, smaller windows with no view and replacing them with huge, beautiful windows that can change the look and feel of your home.
We tried that once, but we cut the hole a bit too big, so we had to put in a garage door instead in their dining room.
Wilson.
Didn't improve the view, but they do have a drive-through now, so you're welcome, Gruball family.
Get the windows that can change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Columbus. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
So all right. Here's what I found out. I was right, sort of. LSU and Texas are open at the same time. Herman had a choice between Texas and LSU. He took Texas. So LSU elevated Orgeron, who was the interim. They elevated him to permanent. What's crazy is a couple of years later, Texas, LSU, and USC are all open. And this is when Lincoln has the choice between LSU and USC, and he takes SC. So LSU was bridesmaid twice, once to Texas and once to USC. And remember, Lincoln Riley took the SC job because he wasn't maybe all on board with Oklahoma being part of the SEC and thought that was going to become a much more difficult job. But that is also an illustration of how fast life comes at you. I mean, you think about those two coordinators. You think about Herman and Fick, who I think both did a master class in taking the right job leaving here after coordinators. Fick knew it. He saw Cincinnati. He knew Ohio. He knew that there would be an avenue for that for him there, and was really smart in picking that job. Tom Herman did the same thing. He had recruited the state of Texas. He looked at Houston. He looked at the resources at Houston and immediately kept that momentum going. Some of that momentum that Kevin Sumlin had and kept it going. And then the difference between the two of them was Tom had his pick between two of the 10 best jobs in the country between Texas and LSU, and the jobs were too big for him. The Texas job was way too big for him, and he couldn't handle all that came with it. Fick took the wrong job. he just waited a year too long and took the wrong job. The other one that's pretty interesting, though, is Riley, who's now at USC, and it seems like they've stabilized. But he could have been the head coach at LSU. Now, I don't know his lifestyle is pretty dang good in Southern California, so he maybe made the right choice on that one, but he ends up in the Big Ten anyway. So that was kind of the chronology of all of that. I did see this on social. Remember, 70% of the time, it works all the time. Scott and Matt both telling me that this Woodward guy, who's the athletic director at LSU currently, was the guy who hired Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. So he hired Jimbo at A&M, and then he hired Brian Kelly at LSU.
I got ranches.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimbo's available. He's working for the ACC network.
He wants to, hey, dude, are you kidding me? Do you know how many times his name was mentioned at LSU?
Probably a lot.
He got 3 raises at Florida State based on LSU job being open.
And then Coach O wants back in. Says if the job's right, he's got more meat on the bone.
If you're LSU and you can hire Jimbo to be the head coach and you hire Coach O to be recruiting coordinator, defensive coordinator, you tell me that doesn't work? I mean,
probably there it does.
Jimbo can recruit it. Coach O can recruit it. You give me that. You let me have that run at things if you're at LSU. You could end up worse than that. You could end up a lot worse than that. So you guys went through it. There just aren't enough. There's not enough guys to fill all these spots.
Which is a little nervy, I would think, if you're an Ohio State fan, because I'm sure Brian Hartline's going to be getting calls, and I'm sure Matt Patricia is going to be getting a lot of calls.
That's an interesting one. And heck, yesterday last week I'm trying to get Pantone hired by the NFL. This week we're trying to get Matt Patricia head coach.
I'm still a little mad at you about that.
No, we're safe. We're safe. You're safe, pal. Just appreciate the folks that are here. I don't know what Matt's why is.
I mean, I have
no idea.
I would think NFL teams are taking notice, right? And I would think he's going to get offers there.
Yeah.
I don't know about a head coach in the NFL, but definitely defensive coordinator spots if he would like. But I would think he's got to be very intriguing to some of these schools right now with what's going on.
Yeah, it's just, I think that I guess at the center of all of this is, are there enough coaches to fill all these openings? Because we haven't even got through November yet, guys. There's going to be jobs that aren't even open. Like Florida State's going to come open if they can cobble the money together. And they might not be the only one. And then if you think about Lane and you think about Lanning and all these other guys who are like the top of the cream of the crop, all those guys are getting raises if they don't take new jobs. Every one of them. And for Lane, like if Ole Miss gets in, if he's in the playoff, is he leaving Ole Miss? I mean, that's the position Fick was in when they made the playoff. That's a tough one when you're talking about a chance to play for it. And it's hard to imagine, like if they lose again and then they're out, then I think he could go take anything he wants. But if they make the playoff, which it's hard to imagine they don't at this point, then it's a little bit trickier. All right, we had, Bake, I know you watched both of these close, so I'm going to lean on you for these. Jackets losing Friday night to the Caps. Certainly Dean Evison not pleased with the way that one finished, and then rebound and getting a shootout win against the Pens on Saturday night over in Pittsburgh. What can you take from those two results?
So, unfortunately, I did not watch Friday night close because we were in here for high school football overtime and high school football. So I was kind of paying it. It was on the screen, but I'm doing so much stuff on a Friday night that I wasn't totally locked in. So I did not I didn't see much. That game was close until it wasn't, right? It's one of those games where it felt like the Jackets were kind of dominating earlier, but they didn't score. And you always get nervy when that happens because if the other team scores first, you're like, uh-oh, this could go downhill quickly. And it seems like that's kind of what happened on Friday night. Saturday night was, goodness gracious, just a typical Penguins game. I've seen that story so many times where the Jackets get out to a 2 or 3 goal lead on Pittsburgh, and it's like, maybe I want to go bet the money line for the Pens right now. And sure enough, the Pens came back, tied that thing up, got it to overtime. Elvis was just spectacular again in that overtime and the shootout and the gets that last goal save, and maybe Malkin shot it a little wide, but the Jackets were great in the shootout that night with the young guys. I just loved I love that they were able to weather that storm and get the win, and that's now 2 of 3 in a row in Pittsburgh, a building that had been so much trouble for you. So maybe this is something with these young guys that, hey, that wasn't us in the past. We can erase this. We just know success. It's just every point matters, right? And it kind of stinks that you gave Pittsburgh a point in that one. But, hey, you got the win. You got the 2 points, and hopefully they can keep rolling.
Reese, how locked in were you to Cavs home opener last night?
Pretty locked in. It was on my computer. I got the FanDuel thing on the Amazon app, so it was on my computer.
Oh, there you go.
And look, it's fine. I don't know what to make of the Cavs right now. You see games from Jared Allen, and you're like, can you just do that against the New York Knicks, man?
Yeah.
Like, he was spectacular against the Nets and against the Milwaukee Bucks. And so that's where, we were talking at the end of last season. It's like, you're going to enjoy this maybe in spurts and in moments, but everything just with this Cavaliers team, just, all right, do it in April.
Yeah, that's kind of the spot that they're at. I'll tell you what's crazy about the NBA the first week, how many massive statistical games we see. I mean, yesterday, Austin Rivers had 51, 11, and 9, and that's commonplace. I mean, Giannis against the Cavs yesterday had 40, 14, and 9. Like, everyone's got these 40-point triple-doubles. Like, it's just normal now. And I don't know if it's just ball-dominant players. I don't know what it is, because the scoring's up, but it's not crazy. But statistically, it's just absolutely wild. Second hour of the program up next. It was not a Sunday to remember in the National Football League for the 2 Ohio teams. We will get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment?
On any 4-tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $200 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyear's and save up to $200 more. See store for details.
Hey friends, Beamer here. In the spirit of Halloween, Awaken 180 is offering free consultations. Learn how scary fast and how scary easy losing weight can be. For mine, I brought all the questions, and in the end, Awaken 180 was an absolute no-brainer for me. Determine if Awaken 180 is right for you. The free consultations end October 31st. Reserve by phone only at 844-346-1800. For details and the number, visit awaken180weightloss.com. Scary easy with scary fast results.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. We have had some good weather over this fall. It's been mostly warm, but sooner or later, it's going to get cold. Maybe you're already starting to feel it in your house because your old drafty windows are letting in that air. Could be the builder grade windows that just came with your house. You thought you were getting great windows. Turns out they weren't as good as you thought. That's where Window Nation can help. This month, you can buy 2 windows and you'll get 2 more for free. There is no limit to how many windows you replace. Plus, your total price includes 1-day installation. Window Nation also has a deal where you don't have to make any payments for 2 years. Is that going to help out with your holiday bills a little bit? I would think so. And above and beyond all that, Window Nation also is giving away tickets to an Ohio State football game when you upgrade your home with Window Nation windows. Free windows, 0 payments for 2 years, all with Window Nation. Go to windownation.com. The estimate is free, the windows are great, and you can get Ohio State tickets. What's not to love? Go to windownation.com today. Once again, that's windownation.com.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my goodness, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
What's better than cheering the Buckeyes on to victory? Wearing our exclusive collection of OSU jewelry as you watch. Hi, this is Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. We're an officially licensed jeweler of The Ohio State University, and we've created beautiful Buckeye jewelry that will last a lifetime. From Blocko earrings to Diamond Script Ohio necklaces, we've got luxury Buckeye gifts starting at $99. No matter where you're watching, show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Parents, are your teens good with money? No. Switch to Huntington Bank and let's teach them. They get their own card, which they can add to their digital wallet, and you can monitor and set spending limits. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify. Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 1 Ohio State's back from the bye this week. OSU will host 3 and 4 Penn State this Saturday at noon. Buckeyes are 20.5-point favorites. Hear from OSU's head coach tonight on Buckeye Roundtable. Ryan Day will join the show around 6:30. In other college football news, LSU fired Brian Kelly on Sunday, one day after the Tigers were spanked by Texas A&M. LSU had lost 3 of their last 4 and was unranked in the most recent AP poll. Kelly's going to be owed $54 million as part of the contract buyout. Monday Night Football is going to hit the fan following Buckeye Roundtable. The Chiefs will host the Commanders at 8:15. That's the final game of a painful Week 8 in the NFL. The Bengals are likely cooked after a 39-38 loss yesterday to the Jets. The Browns got 5 sacks from Myles Garrett, but fell to the Patriots 32-13. And in soccer, the Columbus Crew play at FC Cincinnati tonight at 6:45 in the first leg of their MLS Cup playoff series. This update sponsored by Green & Sons, family owned and operated for over 45 years. Find your next Kubota tractor at Green & Sons.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
I mean, you lead 38-24 in the fourth quarter. You best win. You best win if you're Cincinnati. I mean, this is a winless Jets team. Now, this isn't lost on me. This part isn't lost on me. We started the show paying homage to the late, great Nick Mangold. It's not lost on me that this game took place. I'm not great on my Southwest Ohio geography. I've not been to Centerville, but I can't imagine it's much more than an hour between Centerville and the stadium at Paul Brown down in Cincinnati. Can't be much more than that. So it's not lost on me. The game is played an hour or so from where he grew up. It's not lost on me that it's the New York Jets. It's not lost on me that it's an Ohio State quarterback who leads the comeback, who, by the way, is as vulnerable post-game as I've ever heard a professional athlete post-game. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but Justin talking about in his closet by himself crying after last week. And you think about what Woody Johnson did to him, and what did Justin ever do to him? Not play well? Like, that's it? And you get to throw him under the bus the way that he did like that. So I was very happy for Justin. I was very happy for the Jets community and all that went into it. But from the Cincinnati perspective, it's 38-24 in the fourth quarter. You need one stop. You need one drive. That's all you need. And from 38 to 24, the Jets go 5 plays, 60 yards for a touchdown to make it 38 to 32. The next drive, the Bengals go 3 plays and out, -6 yards on that drive. They go 3 plays and out. The Jets follow that up with 9 plays, 58 yards, and then it's cooked at that point. 6 plays, 20 yards on the final chance for Cincinnati to try to win the game. But 38 points has to be enough. It's got to be enough with Joe Flacco. The Bengals offense did their job in this one. The statistical game for Jamar Chase, I don't know that I've ever seen, and maybe there's somebody at the Elias Sports Bureau who can put something like this together. Jamar Chase was targeted 19 times by Joe Flacco. And wasn't last week he targeted 20?
I mean, that's the recipe for the Bengals. Like, you want to win a football game.
Holy cow.
You're putting the ball in Jamar Chase's hands.
Yeah, 19 times Joe went to him. But none of that's going to matter because they needed this one. They needed to get to 4-4. Not maybe as badly had Pittsburgh taken care of business last night, because then you would have had some real separation. So they're, as crazy it is, they're not totally cooked yet at 3-5. Pittsburgh's just 4-3 now atop the division. So there is a way to kind of stay in it a little bit, but if you're playing the schedule game from the Cincinnati perspective, you looked at this one, you say, that's a win. And then you're up 38 to 24 in the fourth, and you can't get it done. Here was Zach Taylor after the loss.
Yeah, not acceptable. Humbling for us, certainly. Never got a chance to really break that game open like we felt like we were capable of. And, 2 opportunities there at the end of the game to close it out on offense and defensively. To get guys on the ground and tackling wasn't good enough. So we're not going to look at anything and say anything was good enough after that loss. And humbling, and we're going to have to really dig deep to bounce back next week.
I don't understand how he says they couldn't separate. You're up 14 in the fourth. In the NFL, that is separation. You're up 17-3 in the second quarter of this game. It's 24-13 at half. I mean, you stretched it to 31-16. Every time they scored, you had an answer for it. It's 31-16 going into the fourth. Like, no, you did. You did separate. You just couldn't close. You couldn't get a drive. You couldn't get a stop. You couldn't do anything. And Flacco can only do so much. He's given them hope. It's fun up until the result, obviously. He's getting it to Chase, and he's doing all of the things that Joe can do. But this is one that they absolutely had to have. Joe postgame on... This is, I thought, was the interesting one. It's the second one, guys, where he talks about guys have to learn to bring it every day. I think that
guys can
that one
definitely
jumped
learn
out.
from looking at other guys and seeing how they show up and when they show up and, kind of the process they go through. I think you can definitely learn how to become somebody that comes in and works with intention and has, and has detail in what they do and has passion for what they do. And I think you can definitely feed off of that and learn yourself, and then you become the guy that, that other guys are looking to.
He also kind of elaborated on the fact that Zach Taylor said all sorts of guys need to step up. Here's Joe on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're all men, coaches included, and prideful. But at the same time, I think what makes, a good football player a tough, grown man is the ability to look inward and, maybe acknowledge some of the things that he can get better at. So I think that's where it starts in a good locker room is when you get that message from your coach, you take it to heart because you have pride in what you do, and you look at yourself and how you can improve and how you can take that next step and help everybody around you do the same thing.
Are any of these teams good in the North?
The Steelers are good, but I don't know if I want to go much further than that.
I think the Steelers are... Yeah, I'd say good.
They're
probably
good.
The right word. They're going to end up like 10-7, like they normally do, like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced a healthy Baltimore still isn't probably the best or most dangerous team.
What a
here.
win!
Yeah, I'll tell you what. For the Bengals to lose that game that way, that's pretty bad. And for Zach Taylor. To me, for Zach Taylor to say what he said in the postgame, I mean, I don't think you say that to the media, not with this team. Like, this isn't a team that you can do that to. This isn't a really good team. A defense is that's really good and just had a bad game, and you were like, hey, somebody's got to step up. Like, this defense has been bad for a long time. I think that's something that needs to be said in the locker room and kept in-house. And for Joe to say, hey, I think these guys need to learn how to bring it every play.
Yeah, that
like this is pretty much the same team that has been there for a while. Like that's another strike on Zach Taylor. I don't know how long this guy can stick around there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's all bad on him. I mean, you fired Lou Anarumo, you bring in Al Golden, like you're the only one that this can really fall on, realistically.
It falls on ownership too.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to pay Zach to not coach? They historically haven't done that. They haven't made those type of changes. All of those things were red flags to me. When you listen to him, when you listen to Joe, it's all red flags to me. And if you played the schedule game with them and you looked at that Jets game and you go 4-4.
Had to have it.
Had to have it, man. They have the Bears this week, which doesn't look that impressive the way they played yesterday in Baltimore. Then they're at Pittsburgh, Patriots at home, at Ravens, at Bills, Ravens at home. That's their next 6 games. I mean, 2-4 in that feels optimistic to me. And now you're 5-9 and you're done. It's over. I mean, that was a critical game for them. That's a winless team at your place, up 2 touchdowns in the 4th, and you blew it, boy.
Yeah, and I think for that stretch, it's worth knowing you probably won't have Trey Hendrickson for a lot of it. He goes out right before the half, and I don't think it's lost on me the difference in scoring. Yeah. Where Cincinnati couldn't stop or tackle anybody because they're without their best defensive player. Like for everybody who said the Bengals defense is awful with Trey Hendrickson, well, you saw it without him.
Yeah. And you think about, so Pittsburgh struggles last night with the Packers,
who are really good.
Like they are. Yeah, they're really good. I mean, I think we picked them in the Super Bowl, didn't we? I think I did. I think I had them and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I can't remember. But yes, they're every bit of that. Pittsburgh played great for 3 quarters, and then the 4th, Green Bay takes off, and Jordan Love has, kind of his signature win probably, going against Rodgers, throwing for 360, 3 touchdowns, all of it. Rodgers was fine. He, lamented a couple of plays down the field. They don't have probably the weapons that are required to be like a real contender in the AFC, but they should win this division. The win of the weekend's Baltimore's. I mean, all of the stuff that went into that, kind of the weird, wonky stuff with the injury report with Lamar on Friday, where he was active and then he was out. All of those things are huge from the gambling side of things. But this was a game where Baltimore really suffocated Chicago with their defense. They ran it effectively. They ran it for 177, and Snoop Huntley, 17 of 22, 186. Plenty efficient. And you can do that. So Baltimore at 2-5, and theoretically one more week for Lamar. Well, they're at Miami this week, then they're at Vikings, then they're at Browns. Then Jets at home. That's their next 4. They'll be favored in every one of those.
Bengals at home after that.
Yeah, you're right. They could be 7-5 in a blink for Baltimore.
If I'm Snoop Huntley, I'm never leaving Baltimore. I'm always Lamar's backup because he seems to just work there for some reason. That offense fits him. And outside of Lane Kiffin, I don't think anybody won the weekend more than the Baltimore Ravens because the Steelers lose, the Bengals lose, the Browns lose, and then you've got that coming back with hopefully a healthy Lamar. Like, I don't know. I haven't looked. I should have looked yesterday. I haven't looked what the odds are to win the AFC North, but I'm guessing you can get pretty good squeeze on the Ravens right now. And I don't think that's that far out.
Right now, the Ravens are 7.5-point favorites. So that Thursday night game against the Miami Dolphins, that'll open Week 9 in the NFL. And you'll have the Ravens with a 7.5-point favorite. What's the timetable for Lamar if he were to return Thursday? Or do you think, Bo, they just say, nah, we're good?
No, I think he's back.
I think
he was close this week, and now I think he's back. And, yeah, I mean, they're going to be favored in their next 5 minimum. So, yeah, they're going to be right in the thick of this thing. Beat them in Chicago, them in Pittsburgh at the top, and to me, if I'm the rest of the AFC, the team I would fear would be Baltimore. I think their ceiling's quite a bit higher than Pittsburgh's based on what we've seen so far from the Pittsburgh side of things. The ceiling in Cleveland is awfully low. This is one that was expected. This was going to be a brutal matchup, but the look of it did not seem right at all. We will get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, 1 pound packs of Private Selection 80% lean Angus ground beef chuck are only $4.99 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of the biggest reasons people get new windows, Wilson, is that old windows make for an uncomfortable house with crazy high roller coaster energy bills.
Leslie, people love being uncomfortable on roller coasters. The ups, the downs, the gurgling in your stomach because you had 5 corn dogs before getting on.
Did that happen to you, Wilson?
What? No.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Active military or veteran planning your next career move? Start at Columbus State Community College. Columbus State equips you with the skills to launch a high-tech career in Columbus's fastest-growing fields, including cybersecurity, software development, and more. That's why employers fueling Central Ohio's tech boom hire our graduates. Plus, our veteran services team will help you maximize your benefits and connect to a supportive campus community. Take the first step. Apply at cscc.edu/IT.
A friend is someone who knows where you came from. Someone who always shows up when you need them. Someone who's there for the good times and the challenging ones. With comprehensive insurance policies backed by award-winning customer service, Shelter Insurance is committed to being there when you need us most. To find your local agent, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
When you need a mini excavator or a not so mini excavator, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. With the largest rental fleet and hardest working equipment experts in Columbus, we can help you take a big step toward a mini excavator in one of 17 different sizes, from 2,000 to 18,000 pound machines with 6 to 24 feet of reach and 5 to 15 feet digging depth. Though in the most rental locations, and it's no wonder the Columbus builders who are building Columbus lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no! Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
Do you have foot pain? Foot pain is not normal regardless of your age or job. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet and can provide important foot care solutions or shoe inserts to better manage foot pain. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. We've been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. We kick off the work week with temperatures in the low 60s. And then for tonight, partly cloudy skies with our lows from the upper 30s to low 40s. For Tuesday, more sunshine in the forecast with highs around 60. Next chance of rain develops early into Wednesday morning. And it'll be a chillier day to kick off midweek. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
1, 2, 3. Football season is weird because we actually look forward to Mondays. It's Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And we are proudly brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Certainly expected this to be a very tough sled for the Cleveland Browns in New England. The matchup was just a tough one. They don't, they stop the run. And so you've got to throw the ball on them to have success. And the Browns don't really have playmakers on the outside that anybody's fearful of. And they have a quarterback who's a rookie, who's a third-round pick, who was drafted to be kind of a long-term backup for them when they have some of the financial restrictions they have at the quarterback position, who has been thrust into this thing. And so you knew it was going to be a bit of a tough slog. But I think what makes this so difficult, among many things, is what exactly was the plan for success here? How were they going to try to manufacture wins this season? We talked in the preseason, this was always going to be a very difficult needle to thread. You were going to rely on your defense. You thought you were going to be able to rely on your run game, but they weren't really committed to that yesterday. I think just 9 carries for Quinshon Judkins. And then once you have to chase, it's just not an offense that has to chase. But it's a competitive game at half, and it just all goes south in a big, big way. All the while, Myles Garrett has one of the great defensive performances of all time. The dude had 5 sacks in this game. Set a franchise record. He's now the list of guys who by his age with this amount of sack accumulation, it's like him and Reggie White. Like that's it. That's the list. And he's got more than anybody at this age in his career. And he's got 5 sacks of the game. You can't ask anything more of him. So you have this crazy thing where offensively, there's not really a roadmap for sustained success at all, while the defense is still playing at a pretty high level despite being in awful positions over and over and over again. Now, the defense is not as good away as they are at home for whatever reason. It hasn't traveled. If you go look at the points given up by the defense on the road games versus home games, it's night and day. But there's got to be something that's going to have to give here. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again as you sit here now at 2-6 on the season. And just the way that this one went down was pretty concerning, I would say. Let's start with Myles. Here was Myles, who had 5 sacks yesterday on the loss.
I'm frustrated. I want to win. I don't care how much time is on the clock. They got their starters in. There's a chance we can win. I want to be a part of that. I don't care how dire the situation looks. I'm going to try to make something happen. So I hate coming out of those situations. I hate, that kind of inevitability and not being able to do anything about it, because I want to win and I'll do anything.
He was also asked what this team can do heading into their bye week.
Don't quit. Don't keep your head up. Hold everyone's feet to the fire, even my own. Try to find, something, some kind of remedy for this and how we can improve. They're not going to put the red dot on anybody, without putting it on myself and how I can be better and what more I can do for my team, and just going to continue to get different people's opinions and ideas and how we can turn the tide right now.
They had more bad news. Carson Schlesinger, who's been an absolute stud, has a high ankle sprain. So typically with that's 4 to 6 weeks is the way he's been. One of the big bright spots is the way that the rookie out of UCLA has played. Had an interception in this game as well. So now he goes on the injury report. Kevin Stefanski saying post game that the Browns are going to stick with Dylan Gabriel following the Week 9 bye. They play at the Jets next time out. The thing that I think will be interesting, I'll be interested if Andrew Berry does a press conference up there this week. I will be curious, because this feels to me like Dylan Gabriel is put in a really tough spot, and they signed Kenny Pickett. You go back to the offseason, they signed Kenny Pickett with the idea that he would be kind of the Band-Aid quarterback to get you through this season and potentially a bit of a short-term fix. Gabriel's a third-round pick. Now, you can dispute if he was worthy of a top 100 pick. That's up to you. Shedeur Sanders is a fifth-round pick. So these are Hail Marys. These are not, hey, we drafted these guys because we believe they can be the franchise quarterback. If they believed either one of these guys would be the franchise quarterback, they would have drafted them in the first round. They didn't. So these guys are lottery tickets. Gabriel's a lottery ticket. Shedeur's a lottery ticket. But Pickett was the one that you assumed would steward all of this, and they traded him in August with the idea, I would think, that they felt Dylan was just as good, if not better, than Kenny, because they started Joe to start the season. So all of that needs probably a little bit of explaining. This was a tough one, though. It was tough the way the second half went, and it's hard to envision a way offensively where they can be successful in much of any way other than ahead against bad teams and Quinshon Judkins running it 25 times, which they didn't get close to that yesterday.
So I forget when he left yesterday, but if he's dealing with a shoulder injury, you can put him, on the ice for the bye and come out against the New York Jets. And I guess that week before, you can see how he feels. That's really the only thing you've got offensively. I'm still okay if they stick with Dylan Gabriel. I wouldn't hate it if they made the move to Shedeur, but I understand if you do make the move now, you've probably just jettisoned the Dylan Gabriel experiment.
Well, not if he is what they intended him to be, which is the long. I mean, I don't think
but
they
you
thought
have to stick with him through the bye and after the bye if you're going to find that out. If you get rid of him now and you go to Shedeur against the Jets, then I think you've scrapped all of those plans. Same.
I don't, Bo, have you said that before, that they drafted him to be the long-term backup? Yeah. I don't know why it just, if you've said that before, it just hits different today to me.
I don't know. Let me just clarify. I don't know that they said, I think they looked at him and said, this is somebody, a third-round pick who can be under team control. And when you take a quarterback that high, third round, you aren't viewing them as the long-term answer as a starter. You're viewing them as a Case Keenum, Colt McCoy type, if that makes sense. So if they thought that he could be the long-time answer at quarterback, they would have drafted him in the second round. They had 2 second-round picks. So I don't think – now, they were probably – maybe they thought optimistically he could overplay that level and overplay being a third-round pick. Maybe they thought that too. But when you draft somebody there, you're not thinking franchise quarterback. That's not – if you thought that, then you draft him in the first round.
So we're just 4 starts into Dylan Gabriel's career here, and he has some serious limitations around him. Like they don't have a wide receiver that can catch the damn ball. They have 2 tight ends that are okay, and obviously they had 10 of the catches yesterday for them. The offensive line has its issues as well. I'm fine with them starting Dylan Gabriel still. Again, he's just 4 starts into his career with a bad offensive football team. And I think I said this before. If we get to week 12 and we haven't seen more than we've seen now, I think you got to give the rest of the year to Shedeur just to see, right? Because they're lottery tickets. And if you get to that point in the season and you're already 2-6, so you're getting close to the season being dead in the water for you, if it's not already. And if you get to that point in the season and Dylan hasn't shown you a little more, like you're not getting to where you want, so you need to put him in to see. Obviously, he wasn't even active yesterday. I'm with you, Reese. Let's keep going with Dylan here for the next few weeks. I just haven't seen anything from him, and I haven't seen anything on this team to give me optimism knowing what's coming with the offensive line, and it's not going to get any better quickly.
No, it's going to be a long. It's definitely going to be a long build, and I do think I'm curious to see what they say about what was the plan at the quarterback position, like all year, like all off season. What was the plan? And I don't know. Usually during a bye week, general manager have a press conference. I'm curious if Andrew Berry has a press conference up there at some point this week. Austin Ward in 2 minutes. Buckeyes. It is Penn State week. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America. proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone.
Where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Do you feel the nip in the air? Oh, baby, people think summer's driving season. They're wrong. You spend more time in your car this time of year taking your dirty, annoying kids to dirty, annoying things. Go see my friends at Germain Lexus. They have special rates as low as 4.49% on their most popular models, including the 2026 TX350. Lease a 2026 NX for as low as $449 per month. And if new isn't your thing, they have plenty of L certified inventory on the lot. Stop in and see them. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Is your money just lying around? Switch to Huntington Bank, and your money's always doing something. Like auto saving for special events, tracking your teen spending, and helping protect your parents from fraud. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
You're kind of cute.
Ugh, gross. Can I come over to your house one time and you not have your husband prancing around in its tighty-whities?
Well, I can't do laundry because our septic line is clogged.
Call Dormar. They do same-day plumbing repair.
Dormar, you're kind of cute.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
He knows everything about the Buckeyes. He's been offered tens of dollars by a certain team to spill his secrets. He's told that certain team to go to hell.
Damn you all to hell!
He's Austin Ward.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, your destination for handcrafted cocktails, locally inspired dishes, and award-winning whiskey war. Learn more at highbankco.com.
And he joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. The Beat with Austin and Byrne, the Roosters live show on YouTube as well. You know, buddy, I assumed that money would be tight because I was told that boosters were taxed, that they were annoyed, that and I just assumed that these buyouts would be tough to come up with. But I see a $53 million buyout at Penn State, a $54 million buyout at LSU, $20+ million at Florida. And there's nothing like a motivated booster, is there, buddy?
They're pretty much undefeated, Bo, and it's amazing how deep some of these couch cushions can go across the country once it feels like things are trending in the wrong direction. And I think that it's I don't even know the right word to describe it, but I guess I'd go with troubling, because you can't, say on the one hand that you want to depress and limit the NIL earnings and opportunities, and the player roster management is out of control, and then turn around on the same token and have these athletic directors spending tens of millions of dollars that is not going to accomplish anything in terms of building a roster, competing year to year. Now, I know that the coaching position is important, not trying to diminish that, but if you're spending $50 million to make one go away, that's not going to actually fortify or strengthen your program by making that move at that time, because those resources have to be spent somewhere. And I think that part is honestly crazy to me, that the way this is going. I think we've spent the last several years seeing the coaching carousel bumped up earlier and earlier because of the change to rules, with the multiple signing days, with the transfer portal action in December, just the enhanced sense of urgency with how much money is at stake in college football these days. But, there's a lot of things that we say are not sustainable about college football, and you can't continue to run this enterprise in such a reckless fashion. The days of these, tens of millions of dollars of guaranteed buyouts and contracts, they have to go away, or the sport's not going to be able to survive financially.
Well, no, they're not. And we've never seen anything like this. I mean, we're not even in November, and we got LSU, Florida, Penn State, among about 10 more that are all open. What do you attribute this to? This type of panic and this type of feeling the need to make these massive changes now?
Feels to me like Kurt Signetti has broken everyone's brain, and kudos to him, and maybe not just him. You look at Indiana, and Vanderbilt both right now. One downtrodden Big Ten program, one long-time basement-dwelling SEC program. And they have shown that if you can get it right with the exact fit for your program, who also understands how to use the transfer portal, what they're looking for in terms of recruiting and development, and then surrounding themselves with a very good staff, that this thing has never been easier to flip around. The days of giving a coach 3 or 4 years to get in their recruiting class, the first recruiting class, let them become seniors, develop from there. Like, that's not the way that college football works anymore. And, James Franklin and Brian Kelly were both very good at that before. And even if you go back to the absolute greats of the previous generation, would Urban Meyer or Nick Saban's approach still be as successful in today's landscape as it was back then? One of them has answered that directly to you and me both, and he doesn't believe that it would be. And Nick Saban seemed incredibly frustrated with the way that it was going, and maybe he would have continued to be successful. He probably would have been. He's, I think, the greatest college football coach of this, maybe any generation.
Yeah.
And he showed a willingness to be flexible and adapt. But some of these coaches have not, and Brian Kelly was one who did not. James Franklin, I don't think. We all saw what the ceiling was like for him. Billy Napier, I think, was just the wrong guy in the wrong place for Florida. But I think that it's the jealousy. It is, paying attention to keeping up with the Joneses, that you can't afford to let yourself, as LSU or Penn State, fall behind Vanderbilt and Indiana. So I do think that there's an element to that has sped up this process even more.
How would you rank those three? Penn State, Florida, LSU. You've covered both conferences.
Yeah, I think LSU's the preeminent job there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go from that to Florida, I think, with the resources. And then it gets a little bit trickier at Penn State. And then, Firm's flying around here. I left, getting ready for the Rooster show, and
you're all good.
Anyway, I think LSU is the one you want in terms of having that size fan base, the amount of resources that are available for that program, the recruiting base in the backyard. It's tough. Happy Valley has a lot of the things that I just mentioned, but selling it to recruits to go to state college is not the easiest thing in the world. And we've seen even, I think back to the Julian Fleming recruitment that James Franklin thought that he had in the bag and lost it to Ohio State. There's just not a ton of players. I say this with all due respect to Penn State as a program and the players that choose to go there, but a lot of recruits are turned off by that location and the difficulty of getting in and out. And James Franklin himself was one of those people that rued that fact. So I think it would take, you'd want LSU first, and then because we're talking about Lane Kiffin, I guess, having his pick of the litter here with all three of those jobs, I'd be surprised if LSU wouldn't be the one that he put first.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's the one it's really hard to say no to. You win national championships with three different coaches, then you're a pretty dang good job, and they've done that. Let's turn our attention back. This was supposed to be, the next big one, Penn State at noon, and away we go. And now you're 20.5-point favorites. It's hard to imagine a scenario where Penn State can keep it closer to that. What is your hunch that Ryan worked on during the bye week for this team? How did he manage the bye week?
Yeah, I think that, the first 7 games, the recurring theme, the one thing that we've talked about, and he's not really publicly pressed the panic button about the run game, but it's clear now. There was something he said on Tuesday, Bo, that was like, there's still a lot of football here to go, and there's a lot more that Ohio State can improve on and emphasize. And I think now you're in this stretch where they clearly wanted to prove a point with the passing game, or find out a point, I guess, about what Julian's saying and the passing attack could do at Wisconsin. And there's really nothing else left out there that is uncertain to them. But that's not the case for the run game. I think that the right guard position specifically, even last Monday at this time, the coaches were getting to go out on the road, but they had some conversations before they left. My understanding there in the Woody was that, all right, it might be time to see if Josh Padilla is capable of giving a lift there. So we'll see how that transpires throughout this week ahead. I think there's probably still a role to be played for Tegra Shabola no matter what. But I think they've been kind of limited, I think, in what they've tried. because I don't know that Ryan Day is concerned that they can't find a productive running game. That's not really been where a ton of their resources and attention or emphasis appears to have been at this point. But when you're starting to look ahead now to the last week in November, to a potential Big Ten championship game and everything beyond that, I don't think Ohio State can go just throw 42 times a game. Maybe they can. I don't think that would be Ryan Day's preference to go into a playoff game and be relying solely on the passing attack. So that's where it's got to be. The two things that have come up are the run game and trying to fix some of these special teams where they have quite simply not been good enough in that second department. And I think there's been flashes and there's been signs for the run game, but it's still not to the consistent level that they want it.
Buddy, how do you view Indiana?
I was skeptical going into the year, and I didn't know that Curt Cignetti would be able to carry over year after year. I was worried that we were looking at a Mel Tucker and Michigan State situation where it was hitting on one transfer portal class, having a lot of early success, cashing a big check, and then realizing that was not a sustainable model. The same thing that sort of happened with Florida State, that wouldn't be sustainable. But it appears that Curt Cignetti was right, that we needed to Google his record and the way that he builds a program. And I should have maybe paid more deference to him because he has backed it up. And Indiana, by the way, is paying a good amount for their roster, and not just for Curt Cignetti. There is good support for that program. They didn't just load up on a quarterback and wide receivers and hope that they could figure out the rest. They're very good in the trenches, and that's the thing that makes a potential matchup in Indianapolis between Ohio State and Indiana so fascinating, because I think that this is a better version of Indiana than we saw a year ago. So, I give them full credit for that. I was wrong to be skeptical. He has certainly proved me wrong. He wasn't trying to do that to me specifically, but around the country, there were a lot of people that still had some doubts about if that was going to be something that could be continued year over year. And we're still early in this. This is just the encore, but to go 2 for 2 at Indiana is pretty much unheard of, and they deserve full credit for that. They're a heck of a football team.
If it makes you feel better, same. I viewed it the same way you did. It's just, I got to put respect on their name because they are the second best team in the country. You just got to get used to it. Appreciate your time as always, buddy. Look forward to the Roosters live show.
All right, well, have a great week.
All right, there he goes. Austin Ward, The Beat with Austin and Berman, the Roosters live show on YouTube, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Get a quote today at Progressive.com.
Script Ohio necklaces, Blocko earrings, Ohio State bangles, and more. You'll find an exclusive collection of luxury Buckeye jewelry you'll love at the Diamond Cellar, starting at $99. Show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I bowl in 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you at high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment?
On any 4-tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $200 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyear's and save up to $200 more.
Tire Discounters.
See store for details.
Make your Halloween a good deal spookier at Meijer with frighteningly good low prices. Get 25% off costumes for you and your little creatures. Select varieties of Halloween candy are buy one, get one 50% off. And beautifully crisp 3-pound bags of Honeycrisp apples or half gallons of fresh from Meijer apple cider are buy one, get one for just $1. The selection and savings at Meijer are enough to make you go wonderfully batty. You see what I did there, batty? Halloween at Meijer. Always a ghoulishly good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
If you have an unhealthy obsession with the Blue Jackets, we have just the remedy. Join us Wednesday nights at 7 for the Inside Edge. All the Jackets and hockey conversation you can handle. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Oh, did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
More and more these days, people who are in pain are trying to take control of their health. They want to look beyond the traditional medicine of going to just a normal doctor. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. People just like you and me are finding lasting relief without steroids, medication, surgery, right here in Columbus, Ohio at QC Kinetics. You'll be treated by the highly regarded orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Ray Tesner, founder of Grant Sports Medicine. Here's how it works. Your blood contains many tiny but mighty healing tools. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Tesner and his team will get to the root of where your pain stems from, right down to the cells that are involved. By putting these natural elements to work your body, it can revitalize your joints, literally using your own body's biologics to heal you. It's a simple injection, not a hospital stay, no drugs. It's fast, all natural, and there's no downtime. So if it's knees, backs, hips, whatever it may be, give QC Kinetics a call for your free consultation. 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544, QCkinetics.com/Columbus.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time a little thing or not a thing on Reaction Monday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
So Week 8 in the NFL is going to wrap up tonight in Kansas City. The Chiefs and the Commanders go at 8:15. You can hear that game on the Fan following Buckeye Roundtable. But Jonathan Taylor had one of the performances of the Week 8 slate yesterday. The Colts ran all over the Titans 38-14. I think everyone and their grandma had the final result. Taylor had 2 touchdowns on the ground and is really solidifying an MVP type performance this season. Adam Schefter had this. Jonathan Taylor is now the 5th player since 2000 with at least 3 scrimmage touchdowns in 4 games in a season. That joins LaDainian Tomlinson, Marshall Faulk, Sean Alexander, and Priest Holmes. Taylor's the 6th player in NFL history with at least 70 scrimmage touchdowns in his first 75 career games. He joins Jim Brown, LT, Emmitt Smith, Chuck Foreman, and Todd Gurley. Taylor currently leads the league in rushing yards with 850 and touchdowns with 12. He's 20-1 to win the NFL's MVP title. Thing or not a thing?
Boy, I like those odds. At 20-1. I got news for you. That team's not going anywhere. Colts going nowhere.
It's the best offense in the league.
No, and their point differential, all of it. It's all very, very real. They really could be undefeated. If we just don't fumble the ball walking into the end zone, they're very likely right there undefeated. So Daniel Jones is playing lights out. It's all built on Taylor. They got weapons. I mean, it's a massive thing. And him at 20-1. If I were someone who would partake in these type of things, I would probably race to ESPN or wherever you do your wagering, and I would do that. I think he's got a hell of a shot to win it.
I mean, when you're in stats with those guys, right? That is a massive thing because some of those guys are some of the best that we've ever seen do it. I think the one about the touchdowns there with Jim Brown and Tomlinson and Emmitt Smith and Todd Gurley and Chuck Foreman, I mean, that's just amazing. Those are some names. So I'm not sure, Bo, if those odds are current or if they were heading into the week. So like ESPN Bet does not have the player awards odds up there right now.
Okay.
So I pulled that from over at DraftKings, but there's an article from this morning on USA Today, and I'm not sure where they got their rankings from. They have Jonathan Taylor at 30-1.
Good grief.
To win the MVP right now, which either of those, I would say sign me up. I don't know if a running back has ever had a better start to the season that Jonathan Taylor has that we're not talking about at all. Every time you talk about the Colts, it's Daniel Jones, and we're surprised they're doing this. Nobody's talking about Jonathan Taylor, I don't feel like.
No, and they should be. And by the way, you should talk about Daniel Jones, too, because he's completing 71% of his passes. He's 13 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's got a quarterback rating of 109.5.
Yeah, he had 3 touchdown tosses yesterday. One of those was to Jonathan Taylor, who had 3 total touchdowns on the day. I'm looking at the FanDuel current odds. Looks like Daniel Jones is 6th. He's plus 1,600. That's tied with Jordan Love. Then you got Jared Goff plus 1,800. Baker Mayfield the same. And then Jonathan Taylor plus 2,000 there.
So, I love that.
20-1 must be right.
20-1. That's a great number. Yeah, take it.
Maybe throw a little bit on that.
Yeah, that's fun.
We talked earlier in the show about the Baltimore Ravens beating the Chicago Bears yesterday, 30-16. They did so without Lamar Jackson. It was a bit of a screwy week for Baltimore. Lamar was listed as a full participant in Friday's practice, but he only ran the scout team. Baltimore then changed his practice participation to limited on Saturday, while also ruling him out that day Saturday. So after the win, John Harbaugh was asked about the potential NFL violation.
It's an honest mistake. I mean, it really is an honest mistake. I can tell you this. Nobody's trying to hide anything. I mean, there's no advantage. There's no advantage to be gained, with that. I mean, it was, he practiced. His status was what it was. He was questionable. I do think if we'd have had the old status, maybe they would have said doubtful. Maybe, I don't know. But questionable or out. We weren't going to say out because he wasn't out, until Saturday when that conversation was had on the medical side.
Thing or not a thing?
I believe him. I don't think this was gamesmanship. I don't think it was. What does he care? Like, what difference? It's if Lamar. What would be the deception here? Other than the reason the NFL is upset about this is the gambling side of it, because the line was impacted by the idea that Lamar was going to play or not. That's what this is about. There's no gamesmanship on John Harbaugh's side where saying Lamar's in and then he's out and then going to Snoop Huntley. If anything, if you're Chicago, you're going, oh, God, thank God we don't have to deal with Lamar. And that's typically how these things work, especially when it's dicey leading up to it. The only thing I don't know, I'd have to look into this, but he said, at one point he said if we had the old status, so they must have used to had doubtful as an official status of a player, and they must have gotten rid of that, is the way I would read that. I don't know, but that's my guess. So you go from out to questionable, and you get rid of doubtful, and perhaps that is what allows for a little bit of ambiguity. But my hunch is, did they know Friday that he wasn't going to play? If he's running scout team, they probably had a pretty good idea that he wasn't going to play Friday. But maybe they wanted to see what it looked like or give Snoop all the reps. Who knows? I don't think that there's any sort of on-the-field advantage for Baltimore with the Lamar thing.
This is a little bit of a thing because of the gambling aspect of this and the fact that we just had everything in the NBA go down the way it did last week with the Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones and Terry Rozier stuff. When we picked this game on Friday, when you guys picked it, it was a 5.5 line. I think it ended up going to 6.5. And then all of a sudden before the game, when the news of Lamar, the not playing, came out, it dropped to 2.5. So that is a thing. The NFL wants to be very careful with that. They're also in bed with a lot of these gambling companies now, so they don't want to make them mad or upset. I do think it's a thing where it could be, I don't think the Ravens were trying to pull anything. And if anything, I think this just helps the team they're playing with Snoop Huntley. I think the offense is so similar, and him and Lamar are so similar that all you got was a Lamar that's not quite as good, right? So I don't know if you really, I don't know if you really had to change your defense for anything. It's not like they went from Lamar to Joe Flacco, something like that.
My guess is so many people did what we did. Like, I mean, you see that Lamar's not playing, you go, oh. And I'm getting 6.5? Bears. And then Baltimore won and covered. Would have covered the biggest line that was out there. Which probably says something about Chicago.
There are currently 5 teams in the NBA that do not have a win. The Pacers, the Nets, the Rockets, the Pelicans, and the Boston Celtics. Despite 41 points from Jaylen Brown yesterday, Boston fell in Detroit 119 to 113. The Celtics are 0-3 for the first time since the 2013-2014 season. That's the last year that Boston missed the playoffs. Thing or not a thing?
Not a thing. No Tatum. And didn't you also say Indiana in there?
Correct.
No Halliburton, so that's where that's happening. The one that is a thing, I think, is Houston, who a lot of people thought maybe could be a dark horse in the West, and they haven't won yet, despite starting a starting lineup that's all over 6'11", 6'10". Did you notice that? The Mavericks do that too? Just massive length and height on those two teams.
I think this is a little bit of thing for the Celtics. We knew that they were kind of punting on this year, it sounded like, once they knew Jason Tatum was out. I was in here yesterday. Bodie was running the board for the Ohio State basketball game, and I was watching a little bit of that with the new systems and everything. And he had the Pistons-Celtics game up on the computer, and Boston jumped out to like a massive lead in the first quarter. And I think by the end of the first quarter, I think it ended, they were up by 9 points, 10 points, something like that. So, I mean, that's a little bit of a concerning thing. Like, you want to get out to a lead. You want to win that game. But, Bo, to your point, the Celtics said bye-bye to this season when Jason Tatum got hurt at the end of last.
Yeah, and then it's cooked at that point. Final hour coming up next. Bill Bender coming up at 11:30. We blitz the weekend coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast-track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Aaron, I'm freaking out a little that you're giving away $500 in free repairs whenever someone buys a new water heater.
When people are faced with an unexpected expense, an unexpected gift helps restore balance to the universe.
Get Eco.
ECO. How many things can our plumbers do for $500 or less?
Tons of things.
Like what?
We can repair a toilet that's not working. We can replace a hose bib, install a utility sink or a vanity, run a water line to an appliance, replace a garbage disposal.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Replace a shutoff valve, fix an exposed water leak.
What's an exposed water leak?
It's one you can see. It's not inside a wall and it's not underground.
And we're going to do these sorts of things for free just because a person buys a water heater?
Yeah, for free.
Because we're restoring balance to the universe?
Balance to the universe.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and gonna make you cool again, HVAC technicians.
Whoo, go to geteco.com.
Do you feel the nip in the air? Oh, baby, people think summer's driving season. They're wrong. You spend more time in your car this time of year taking your dirty, annoying kids to dirty, annoying things. Go see my friends at Germain Lexus. They have special rates as low as 4.49% on their most popular models, including the 2026 TX350. Lease a 2026 NX for as low as $449 per month. And if new isn't your thing, they have plenty of L certified inventory on the lot. Stop in and see them. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
With business banking, Tel Ohio Credit Union takes it personally. That's why they are the #1 SBA lender among Ohio credit unions. You are a member, not a number. That's the Tel Ohio difference. Visit telohio.org/business.
Certain restrictions apply. Tel Ohio is open to all in central and southwestern Ohio. Federally insured by NCUA.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Week 8 in the NFL wraps up tonight in Kansas City. The Chiefs host the Commanders at 8:15. You can hear that game on the Fan following Buckeye Roundtable. Top-ranked Ohio State's a 20.5-point favorite, hosting 3 and 4 Penn State Saturday at noon. Hear from OSU's head coach tonight on the Roundtable program. Ryan Day is going to join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, and Coach Cooper Monday night around 6:30. In the NBA Monday, the Cavaliers host the Detroit Pistons. Tip-off is 7 o'clock. Cavs are 2-1 following Sunday's 118-113 win over the Milwaukee Bucks. In soccer, MLS Cup playoffs begin tonight for the Columbus Crew. Black and Gold are at FC Cincinnati in the first leg of their best-of-3 series. Kickoff 6:45. Columbus is going to host leg 2 on Sunday. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets are back in action tomorrow night. CBJ will skate in Buffalo against the Sabres at 6:45. Jackets are 4-4 following their shootout win over the Penguins this past Saturday in Pittsburgh. You can hear Blue Jackets hockey tomorrow night on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Bill Bender coming up at 11:30. Time to blitz the weekend. Hit it, guys.
Bishop and Friends present the Weekend Sports Blitz.
All right, fellas, I believe I had that. Reese, I'll start with you. What did you have?
I had the Browns losing to the Patriots. I didn't necessarily have it going like that, but it's just an overmatched. It's an overmatch. It's a bad matchup. Both teams. Patriots are talented and chesty, and boy, they showed it after the first drive for Cleveland.
What did you make of Vrabel's comments? Did you see that post game?
It's Mike being Mike.
Yeah, but he was in that building for a year, and he, once they got through their gimmicky stuff or whatever, it's interesting.
I think he told you how he really felt.
I guess.
Guys, I think I had that Kent Johnson and Adam Fantilli should be playing together on the same line for the Columbus Blue Jackets, or at least both of those guys should be playing with other top 6 forwards, because that's what they are. They need to be playing with guys of like skill level. In the 4 games since those two have been put together, Fantilli has 3 points, one of those a goal. Kent Johnson has 4 points, 2 of those goals. It just seems to work. It worked together last year. Why wouldn't it be the same this year?
Yeah. Luckily, they got it sorted relatively quickly. It wasn't something that lingered for a couple of weeks. I think the Big Ten middle is good. I think it's good. We've been talking for a long time that Washington should be ranked. Washington should be ranked. They handled their business against Illinois. I think USC is a pretty good football team. We haven't talked about them much, but Iowa is a pretty good football team. The middle of this league, so much attention is given to the Buckeyes, and rightfully so. But then Indiana's gotten a lot of love. Oregon gets love. But those next teams deserve the same type of respect that the SEC teams are getting for reasons beyond anything. If you watch, and this is crazy, I think Texas went up a spot in the poll. If you watched Texas play Mississippi State and then you said, yeah, elevate them, you ought to be having your vote taken away. That is not a good football team. They were lucky to survive a bad Mississippi State team in Starkville. Very lucky to survive. That team should not be in the top 25. I don't know what happened to them, but they shouldn't be. And these Big Ten teams should be better represented in the top 25. And it's shameful that we're almost to November and we're still having to make cases for these teams because they're worthy of being ranked. I did not have that, Reese. What did you not have?
Myself agreeing with Desmond Howard on an ESPN television show where he said the Big Ten runs college football or something to that extent. And it's hard to argue that point. Like, Desmond Howard made a good point.
I did not have Ole Miss beating Oklahoma. Like you, Bo, I enjoy Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
But I did not think that Ole Miss was a top 10 worthy team. I have thought Oklahoma was a top 10 worthy team for a while. I was wrong on the Rebels. They're pretty good.
I don't think you're wrong on Oklahoma. I think they blew it with Mateer. I think they rushed him back too soon. I don't think they should have played him in the Texas game. They should have let him get all the way right. And now it's probably a lost cause at this point with them going forward at this point. I'll tell you what I didn't have. Anything in the NFL. Just nothing. I mean, it's a laughable So I picked Atlanta to win and cover. They got bombed. I picked Carolina to cover against Buffalo. Bombed. I picked the Niners to win and cover. Bombed. I picked New Orleans to keep it close with Tampa Bay. Bombed. I had Dallas winning outright. Bombed. I mean, just after a 13-2, I'm staring at like a 4-win week. The NFL was just drunk out of their minds this past weekend. I can't make sense of anything that happened. How does Miami go hammer Atlanta? I know it was cousin Penix, but come on.
Bo, I'll give you a little bit here because I think I was with you on all of those except New Orleans. I think you could make a case. I think you could have made a case for everything you just said except New Orleans to me.
Yeah, it's bad. Just bad sledding. Player who impressed, Reese.
Well, Ohio State looked pretty good yesterday against Ohio University. The Bobcats are picked to be one of the top 5 teams in the Mid-American Conference, and the Buckeyes handled them pretty well. 103-74 was the final from the shot. Brandon Knoll, the Wright State transfer, led the team. Him and Christoph Telly are going to be really good for this team, for this basketball Buckeye team that starts next Monday.
Yeah, I love these scrimmages that they're doing. Some really cool ones this past weekend.
Very fun. For me, it is the 19-year-old number 1 pick in the NHL draft last season, Macklin Celebrini. On Thursday night, he had a hat trick and 2 assists for a 5-point night in their win. He had an assist on Friday and a loss for them. And then on Sunday, a goal and 2 assists. He has 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points in just 9 games for the Sharks this year, who are still bad, but Macklin Celebrini, really good. He's 3rd in the NHL in scoring right now. I know that everybody thought he was the number 1 pick, but I did not think he was supposed to be on par with some of the other number 1 picks that they've had recently. Man, he has been really good to start the season.
He's been lights out. So I've said a lot of crazy things over all the years doing this, like it's going to happen. I came on here after seeing this kid play as a 15-year-old and said he's the best high school basketball player I've ever seen in person. And then I watched his high school career. It left. It went to West Virginia, and then it went to California, and he finally landed at Kansas. And they had a scrimmage on Friday night. And yes, I'm channeling Jacob Reimer now, who I'm now texting about freshman college basketball players.
Don't do that. It'll never stop. Don't do that, Bo.
My guy, Darren Peterson, is nuts. He is nuts. He had 22 in about 8 minutes for Kansas against Louisville in the scrimmage on Friday. He's an Ohioan, so I saw him play a lot when he was young. He is lights out. He will be the number 1 or number 2 pick. In fact, Jacob texted me while the Celtics thing or not a thing was happening. It becomes a thing if they get in line and draft Darren Peterson next year. That would be terrifying, and he's right. It would be. He is nuts as a player. Absolutely nuts. Player who disappointed. Who do you got, Reese?
I don't know if it's necessarily a player. I'm just going to go with a team, the Dallas Mavericks. Like, what are you doing, guys? Like, that's supposed to be they got their first win finally against the Toronto Raptors, but not going well for Dallas right now. Early on in the season, but teams are losing to the Washington Wizards.
My oldest made me aware that Klay Thompson is dating Megan Thee Stallion.
I saw that this weekend too.
Well, you and my 13-year-old on the same Instagram, and he showed me the outfit that she wore to the opener. And I can understand how it would take the attention of a 13-year-old. I'll just say that.
I will say this. After the Luka trade, I don't feel bad for the Dallas Mavericks, just like I don't feel bad for Myles Garrett taking the bag. So
Dude, they got the lottery. They landed Flag. Like, they're going to be fine.
I don't feel bad at all.
You just did that just to pull the Myles shot, huh?
Maybe. I don't know. Player that disappointed for me was Luke Altmaier, and it wasn't terrible for him. And I know that's a tricky trip out to Washington. It can be, but Illinois really wasn't that competitive in that game. Altmaier just 22 of 34, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. That gives him 3 picks now in his last 2 games, the 2 games against Washington and Ohio State. He wasn't great in the Indiana game either. When the games have been the biggest for Altmaier this year, he hasn't played his best, and that's not great for a guy who was trying to get his stock in the NFL draft up.
I'm going to go myself here. So I played golf with NBC on Saturday. We both played about as well as he or I can play. Just played great. Played 9 and played great. Shot 41, which is lights out. It's about as good as I can do. So then I go take all of the boys out yesterday, and for like 3 holes, I can't get off the tee box. I'm like, I just did this yesterday, and it went well. And then I get frustrated. It goes worse and worse and worse. And it's like, you're an idiot. You're never going to be good at this. Like, you're just always going to. It's a stupidest damn game. And yet, on a perfect fall Saturday or Sunday, how do you beat it? Leaves are changing. I mean, it's just heaven. So good, and yet so bad. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Who do you got, Reese?
I'm going to go with Georgia Tech's 47-year-old head coach Brent Key.
Yeah.
I think he has had himself a pretty good couple of weeks here with coaches being dismissed at other locations. He's making $4.1 million with Georgia Tech. The record 8-0. They crushed Syracuse over the weekend, and that doesn't necessarily matter the opponent they beat, but they are 8-0, and they are a really good football team, and he should be one of those coaches, or at least have his name bandied about with some of those other openings in college football. Is he ready for the job? I don't know, but Georgia Tech and what feels like a more enthusiastic fan base for the Yellow Jackets in terms of NIL and donor money, he's going to be making a little bit more than $4.1 million next season. I know he signed his new deal back in December, but he's going to get a bump at the end of the season at the very least from Georgia Tech.
He's from Birmingham, played at Georgia Tech.
And he coached at Alabama for a hot cup of coffee.
Remind me something. We're going to do a little college football chat coming up next. So remind me about Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt and if there might be something to all of that. Bake, who do you got?
Lane Kiffin, I'm sorry I picked against you in your team this week. Please don't take it personal. I always loved you. I always think you were entertaining. I just didn't think your team was that good. And they proved me wrong, and you proved me wrong, and I'm very sorry, Lane Kiffin. And now you can pick whatever 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs you want, whichever one's the best. You had a great weekend with that win, and then also LSU. His price just went up. In this bidding war.
No one won more than him.
Won the weekend. Easy.
He wins the weekend. Now, he's got the post-game stuff with the Oklahoma player. His team now looks like they're locked into the college football playoff. Hard to imagine them. They'd have to lose like almost twice more to not get in. And all the while, all the jobs that would want him and have him number 1 on their list became open. He can now play LSU against Florida and Ole Miss. Yeah, he's going to make $13 million a year, one way or the other, whether it's in Oxford or Baton Rouge or Gainesville. Which leads us You hit on something with Georgia Tech that got me thinking a little bit. Is there a new power structure in college football that snuck up on all of us? We'll get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
If you love losing big money, then boy do we have the promo code for you. Enter code BIGBEAUTIFULBILL to unlock these awesome offers. You can buy a car for even more money than before, or watch your heat and electric bills skyrocket. It's exclusive for everyone, thanks to Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, which our Senator John Huston supported. So use promo code BIGBEAUTIFULBILL. Sit back and crack open a cold one, but just one, because that's all you can afford. Paid for by NRDC Action Funds.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Get your furnace fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
Is there anything better than a college football Saturday? Not if you're at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Join the Fan for watch parties for the games this season. Oh, you got to check out the display case of amazing autographed prizes you can win. It's beautiful. 2 massive TV walls to watch the national champs. Watch and place wagers with over 30 kiosks. Contests, prizes, and live shows. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey friends, Beamer here. In the spirit of Halloween, Awaken 180 is offering free consultations. Learn how scary fast and how scary easy losing weight can be. For mine, I brought all the questions, and in the end, Awaken 180 was an absolute no-brainer for me. Determine if Awaken 180 is right for you. The free consultations end October 31st. Reserved by phone only at 844-346-1800. For details and the number, visit awaken180weightloss.com. Scary easy with scary fast results.
College is great. You know what else is great? Pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of the Ohio State University. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Forrest Gump says he and Jenny went together like peas and carrots.
I gotta pay.
Well, the Buckeyes are the #1 team in the country, and the Fan is the #1 sports station in the country. Peas and carrots, baby. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. We kick off the work week with temperatures in the low 60s. And then for tonight, partly cloudy skies with our lows into the upper 30s to low 40s. For Tuesday, more sunshine in the forecast with highs around 60. Next chance of rain develops early into Wednesday morning, and it'll be a chillier day to kick off midweek. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
The only thing better than watching football is talking about it. So we invented Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody. Work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
We were talking about the LSU job and the Penn State job, the Florida job, and all these jobs coming open and why. Well, the why is, and I think Signetti's a part of it. I think Clark Lee's a part of it. I think Eli Drinkowitz is a part of it. I think what you're seeing is this nouveau riche group in college football that has flipped things relatively quickly in a modern time. And they're doing it in a non-traditional way in that they're not doing it through recruiting classes. They're doing it through portal, strategic portal, and then they're able to reach the kids once they get them on campus in a way that maybe others can't. And it begs the question, are we entering a new era of college football where what you really need more than anything else, unless you're at a place like this, or Bama or those type of places, but unless you're there and you have like this built-in ecosystem to kind of rely upon, this built-in culture to rely on, everywhere else, you can flip it so quickly, and you're getting this entire new group of teams in here that are as motivated as their most powerful boosters allow for them to be. And it does make you think, like, is the most important thing for most of these places to have a booster who's willing to write checks? And if you do, and you've hired the right coach, then there's no reason not to flip quickly. And conversely, you can get buried now faster than ever before. And I think there's this massive fear for these alumni bases, these boosters, these programs, to falling into a point of no digging out, which is weird because you can dig out more quickly than ever. I mean, Indiana flipped it in 2 years. They flipped it. If I'm Clark Lee, why do I leave Vanderbilt? You get a $10 billion endowment. Doesn't seem like they have any trouble getting the kids in there. If I'm Andrew Luck at Stanford, why aren't I just copying that? Now, he doesn't have the proximity to talent that Clark Lee does, but Clark Lee is selling an attitude at Vanderbilt. He's selling Nash Vegas. You saw the celebrities that were there at the game on game day, like all the country music, all those people rallying towards it. If you're him, why would you leave?
I was thinking that they had him on College Game Day. I'm like, this is perfect. This only makes the most sense in the world. Like, just to stay there and to build that kind of thing where you don't need anything because you kind of have it all within the close proximity to your point. And there's only, I mean, you go to Alabama, you go to Georgia, you go to Florida will be open. Alabama and Georgia probably won't be open. But those schools, like, you've got to win immediately and you've got to do it in ridiculous fashion sometimes, or else your fan base is just going to crush you. If you're in Vanderbilt, you've got a fan base that's got money and not ridiculous expectations. Like, I think Georgia Tech might be similar. You have a Georgia Tech guy, you have a booster and donor base that's willing to pay, you have a fan base that won't crush you after a loss to Georgia. You can go 8 overtimes against them. And you're in a suburban, you're in a major city with access to everything. I mean, Atlanta and Nashville, a lot of similarities.
They're not going to crush you right now. But if this is the standard, like if Georgia Tech continues to do this, they're going to expect
you can be crushed by the weight
and
of
results
your
eventually,
success.
right?
Yeah, sure.
And it's a lot. It's the expectations thing we talked about earlier, right, Bo? There's no expectations at Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech. Now, if you build them there, that's great, and that's awesome for you, and they'll probably build you a statue, right? It's kind of like the Big Ten head coach of the year. People expect Ohio State to be good every year, so Ohio State doesn't really win that anymore. But when Indiana goes 11-2 or Illinois goes 10-3, nobody expected that. So it's going to be interesting with Curt Cignetti, and I love him. He's done it back-to-back years now. Moving forward, are there going to be expectations and how those are handled and how those are lived up to? And I think Cignetti can handle it, and I think he can do okay. But if Cignetti has a year after, like say next year, Indiana goes 7-6, Are people going to start crushing him and say, see, Signetti couldn't do it?
Not calling for his job.
Not calling for his job yet.
I don't think so. I think that type of stuff comes from the Ohio States of the world. That is a cultural, generational, over and over and over. This is what we are entitled to. That I think it's making it very difficult at places like Nebraska for now 2+ decades. I think it's going to make it very difficult at a place like Virginia Tech. I think it's going to make it it's already making it very difficult at a place like Florida State. I mean, Bake, you and I are old enough to remember their run in the 90s. Yeah. There was no program cooler than them in the 90s in what they did. That's a long time ago. They won a national championship with Jameis. They feel like they couldn't be more far from that, possibly. And so if you are Clark Lee, is Vanderbilt a better job than Florida State? Has Indiana become a better job than Nebraska? Is Georgia Tech a better job than Virginia Tech? 20 years ago, you would have said no to all of those.
It's been crazy to think about.
Absolutely. But you have to have mobilized alumni and boosters who are willing to write massive checks. And if they do it, then you go. And that's what makes the Ohio State experience so unique, because Ohio State has the culture. They built a team traditionally through recruiting, and then they buttress, kind of their stopgaps in the portal. That's the ideal. But Bama can do it that way. Georgia can do it that way. Oregon can do it that way. Go look at the top 20 right now. I mean, Texas A&M is currently third in the country. Indiana, obviously, is second. A&M's third. Georgia Tech is 8. Vanderbilt is 9. BYU is 10. Virginia is 15 in the country. I mean, these are not the folks we're used to seeing here with a month left to go. And a lot of these teams are going to get in. I mean, like Indiana's in. This ain't going to fall off the tracks in the next month. Not to that extent. I mean, the worst case scenario, I don't know if they're going to lose. I think it could be undefeated when you play for the Big Ten championship game. But, I mean, that's what's coming. I mean, these teams, Virginia's on the cusp of this thing. Like Virginia, Georgia Tech for the ACC championship. BYU with a freshman quarterback, we're number 47 sitting there undefeated in. Vanderbilt in. This is, parity has come, but it's not come in the way that it's not come because of a 12-team playoff. Parity has come because there are boosters in some of these places who are locked in and motivated. That's what happened in Indiana. They unlocked the money. You unlock the money, and this is where you get. Vanderbilt plays at Texas this week. I haven't even looked at an early line on it. They better be favored. They're a lot better than Texas. They're at Texas, then they got Auburn, Kentucky, and at Tennessee to finish it. Hard to imagine them not going 10-2.
So Texas is a favorite, minus 2.5.
Okay, then you just haven't seen Texas play. You just haven't. Not since they played here. You just haven't seen them play. Indiana they're at Maryland, at Penn State, Wisconsin at home, and at Purdue. He's going 12-0.
It is nuts when you look at like the SEC standings right now, and it'll be fascinating Saturday, but also fascinating what comes of Saturday next Tuesday, which Tuesday is going to be bonkers. Election Day, NFL trade deadline, and at 8 o'clock, the first college football playoff reveal of the season. But you've got 4 SEC teams with 1 loss overall, or 1 loss in conference. You've got Texas sitting there at 6-2.
What a mess.
What do you do with the 20th ranked Longhorns?
Well, and here, if you do the college football playoff right now as it stands, if you just think of this in your head from top to bottom at a bracket, the 8-9 game right now would be Georgia Tech against Vandy. That would feed into Ohio State. I like those odds. The 5-12 is Georgia and Houston. Houston is the group of the non-Power 5, non-Power 4 that would be in. That would feed into Alabama. So you could have a Georgia-Bama quarterfinal there. Oregon would play Miami in Eugene. That would feed into Indiana. And then Ole Miss would play BYU, which would feed into Texas A&M. If it were right now based on the AP, that's the way that it would shake out. And that is a wild thing to try to wrap your head around, being the Buckeyes and getting the winner of Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech in the national quarterfinal. Get Bill Bender's perspective on all of this in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we helped Tom.
Hi, my name's Tom. I've been a patient at Tri-State Men's Health, and I'm being treated for low testosterone. I didn't really notice the issue of just the energy and feeling slow in the middle of the day and waking up feeling as if I hadn't even gone to bed. When I walked into Tri-State Men's Health, I was extremely impressed from the get-go with the results of the treatment. I wake up in the morning now with clarity. I have had more energy in working out. I definitely have increased my strength. I would say that if there are men out there who experience some of the same problems that I did with inability to sleep well and waking up without feeling refreshed and having your energy flagging throughout the day, go see Tri-State Men's Health. It's changed my life and it'll change yours too.
Thanks, Tom. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone.
Where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets the Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get some college football perspective with a month to go and an absolutely bonkers last weekend and some crazy races that are tracking down a top 25 that's unrecognizable for those of us who've been around it for so long. Bill Bender, the Sporting News, joins us on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, buddy, who in the country is great?
Well, first, I appreciate Sherman from being in the Lancaster day, so that's always nice to hear that. But
I think let's reconnect with Bill. I think we got a little bit of a poppy phone. I think I heard something about the General Sherman that I liked a lot, but it seemed like he was popping in and out. Yeah, so when you I actually misspoke. It wouldn't be Houston. I forgot Houston's in the Big 12, so it'd actually be Memphis would be the current 12 seed. So it'd be Memphis and Georgia feeding into Alabama, and I kind of went through that bracket a little bit, and then waiting on the winner of Georgia Memphis would be Alabama, who is currently in the 4 seed. One thing to remember, there are no automatic buys for conference champions, so they'll just rank them 1 through 4. We'll get the 4 buys on this thing, and that's kind of the way that it'll shake out. As it stands right now, it'd be 2 Big Ten teams with Ohio State and Indiana, the 1 and the 2 seed, and it would be Bama and A&M as the 3 and the 4 seed. So that's the way that this thing would shake out if it were played right now. You'd get the 2 Big Ten teams 1-2, the 2 SEC teams the 3-4. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is going to play out with conference championship games. Now let's bring Bill back in there. I believe you were complimenting our Sherman re-lead.
Yeah, I'm a Lancaster guy. So, you mentioned teams who, of course, we know all about General Sherman down there.
That's right.
And speaking of which, the one team that has kind of run through people like that has been the Buckeyes. So I do think there's some separation because of that scoring defense with the combination of Julian saying with an 80% completion percentage. But as you said, now we're in November, and I don't know that anybody's unbeatable. Ohio State's probably the closest thing. I'm really intrigued by Indiana because I do want to see them play Ohio State and see what's different from last year. And then I was just accosted by Schlegel on that show with Bobby about saying that it was okay and it showed some mettle that Alabama went to South Carolina and came back and pried that game away. But I do think they're the best team in the SEC.
Yeah, I think that at this point for a lot of these places, and look, I've been as adamant as anybody can be on the Big Ten being disrespected at the bottom of the poll, be it Washington, USC, even Iowa. I think all of those teams should be ranked, and they're not. And some of the SEC teams are getting the benefit of the doubt. Bama has played 4 ranked teams, and South Carolina's got a kid at quarterback, and that place is a cauldron, and it's 90,000 people. It's all of that. So, sometimes you just have to survive and advance. I think the thing that's really hard for me, and I'm curious where you are with this, is I have incredible brand bias built up with 20 years of covering this sport. Now, it's hard for me to take Indiana seriously. I know that I have to. I'm done not taking them seriously. They handle their business every week. But beyond that, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, I'm just not used to seeing these names in playoff consideration and in the top 10 of the country, Bill.
Oh, I'm doing it again this week. I'll end up picking Texas to beat Vanderbilt, even though I probably shouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My hunch is that's on our end, Bake.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. That sounds digitized, so.
Yeah, it was all fine, and then he popped again. So that might be on our end with the call with Bill. But yeah, that's one of the things that you keep saying when you look at this thing is these teams that have now gotten to this point in the schedule where they're ranked in the top 10 in the country and taking them seriously. And you can play this game with Indiana. Indiana's going to get to the Big Ten championship game. It would be shocking to me if they were 11-1, but I think it's very likely that they will get there at 12-0. The Vanderbilt one is interesting. They're sitting there at 7-1. Their only loss is to Alabama. The rest of the way they are at Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. Feels to me like that's a 10-2 football team. So what exactly do you do with that? The one team that's hanging around, and right now would be out, is Notre Dame. Notre Dame would be out right now, but they get Navy at home, then they're at Pitt, they got Syracuse, and then they're at Stanford. So that's the way that it goes. And as I think we got Bill back, I think it could be on our end, Bill. So it very well could be the thing that you have to get used to, and we're going to have to, Georgia Tech's going to make it. Even if they lose to Georgia at the end, they're going to make it. They're going to get to that ACC championship game at 11-1. And Ward Manuel said last year we can't hold championship game losses against team. I don't know if they'll do that again this year. Who knows? But these teams aren't going anywhere.
No, they're not. And you mentioned, even Navy with a local kid, Blake Horvath. They could get in the playoffs even if they lose to Notre Dame, which would be a neat story. He is another one of those kids, by the way, that's kind of MVP of the team.
Yeah.
Haynes King, maybe not a Heisman guy, but tell me somebody doesn't mean more to their team than Haynes King. He's been brilliant for them. And then as we get into the playoff, I think one of the debates that we're going to get into with the Big Ten, with all this travel, and you've made it feel like the NFL. Look at Washington the last 2 weeks, Bo. They go to Michigan, they lay an egg, go back home, beat up on Illinois.
Yep.
No other conferences. Well, the ACC has it, but to a smaller extent. Nobody has that, and I do think it's going to cost the Big Ten a playoff team. I think they're going to end up with 3 just by the schedule attrition.
It's hard to find a 4th unless it's Michigan, But
you're right.
They're sitting there at 6-2, and they obviously have the metric point, and you don't even want to put it into the universe because we continue to do the show in Columbus, Ohio. But other than the Buckeye game, they got Purdue at Northwestern at Maryland. It would be shocking to me if they lost any of those games. So Michigan would be sitting there going into the Ohio State game at 9-2. That's probably right around the top 10 in the country. I think Notre Dame's going to be one. They'd get in. They went out. They're going to get in for sure. I think you make a great point on the Big Ten, and I think one of the things that is, and we're seeing it in ratings. I know you've paid attention to this too, in terms of how the SEC is outrating television-wise the Big Ten. The Big Ten needs its entities that it partners with, Fox, CBS, and NBC. It needs them pumping their programs the way that ESPN did what it did for Vanderbilt on Saturday. It needs the rest of the country to become more aware of the thing that you just pointed out, which is brilliant. They ought to hire you. What you just pointed out for Washington in terms of what they've had to do from a travel standpoint. Oregon's had to do similar. That takes a toll.
Yeah, and when we do this in the NFL, like when the Browns or Packers go out to the West Coast, you're like, oh well, it was that tough West Coast trip. In college football, it can cost you a playoff spot.
Yes.
And USC, we're going to find out what they're all about on Saturday. And to your point, the networks, you should be hyping that game. It's USC, it's Nebraska. These are the programs that the Big Ten brought in from the original 10 to amplify the model, and it's time for them to kind of live up to it. I am wondering whether or not Lincoln Riley can finally go do that with Jaden Mayava. Can they? Because they could get in the mix. But for them to get in, Bo, it will require a victory over Oregon, and I'm just not sure they can do that.
No, I'm with you on that. We've never seen anything like this in terms of coaching vacancies before November. Not like this. Not Florida, LSU, Penn State, all Cadillac jobs. They're all open. Obviously, Lane Kiffin wins as much as anybody because he's either going to be paid a whole lot more to coach at Ole Miss, or he can pick between LSU and Florida. Where would you rank those openings with LSU, Penn State, and Florida?
Interesting fact I dug up this morning. LSU and Penn State in the college football playoff era, they're separated by exactly half a game. LSU's half a game better. But you got the recruiting, advantage at LSU. They get top 10 class every year. Three of their last four coaches have won national titles, so you're going to be held to that standard. I do think it's a little bit better job than Penn State, though, because they've proven they can do it with all of those coaches. And I didn't appreciate Brian Kelly and LSU firing Brian Kelly right before the Steelers and Packers got started last night. The transcript for that is not available.
You had one wish. You just wanted to see Rodgers against your boys in Pittsburgh. And instead, you got to do the Brian Kelly thing. One other thing, buddy. Everyone in college athletics has cried poor, right? We got to find money. We got to find private equity money. We got to do this. Doesn't seem like it. Seems like if you got some motivated boosters, you can write a $54 million check if you want.
Yeah, and I'm still picturing like the governor of Louisiana and these boosters in this room. I wish I had the transcript from that one where, how they decided that they were going to come up with this money to let go of Brian Kelly, and he has a $53 million buyout. So, yeah, for all the talk about we need all this money, there sure seems to be a lot flying around, especially. And I think, the players need to have a piece of that. So the complaining about NIL and the players, you kind of miss me a little bit when a coach can have a $50 million buyout, or, James Franklin was 45, and, they can sit on that or go coach and get another large buyout at another school. It's something that definitely needs to be fixed.
Do you think that what do you attribute the timing of all of these firings happening before November to?
That college hasn't figured out how to be the NFL yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there are some emotional decisions being made. LSU was beating Texas A&M at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And what if they win that game? Is Brian Kelly fine? Or do we just wait till Alabama beats them 2 weeks later? And I think, I would make this case, and it goes to the Sark rumors over the weekend in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Is it better to be like the steward of a major program like Texas, Ohio State, and try to maintain a program? Or do you have an easier time building a successful NFL team through the draft and free agency where you can have guys for multiple seasons? I think it's an open debate that college hasn't figured out yet.
I think the point you just made, dude, is one of the best points in 3 months. How college football has not gotten used to the NFL because there are going to be losses. When you have these super conferences, you're going to take on losses, and you have to be okay with it to a certain extent. It's a bridge we haven't had to cross here yet, in part because of the way that the Big Ten does their schedules without always playing the hits. But that's something that in that conference in the SEC, you nailed it. They have to get used to 10-2.
Right. Or 8-4. And,
yes.
Maybe you go get it next year, and that's life in the AFC North, quite frankly.
Yes.
Even this year where it's muddled up, and I can't tell you right now who's going to win the AFC North, which is wild. I'm hoping I can tell you who wins the NFC North, but I think in the SEC and the Big Ten, they're going to have to figure that out because of all these factors. And college football, we say it all the time on this show, it's governed by emotion, even more so than the NFL. And I think some programs have made some emotional decisions, not thinking that, hey, if we hire the wrong guy, James Franklin and Brian Kelly are going to be laughing somewhere in a few years.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Great stuff as always, buddy. Thanks for your time. Greatly appreciate you.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for having me on, Bo. I'll talk to you soon.
There he goes, the great Bill Bender at the Sporting News on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We do a little 3 things. We got a Monday Nighter to pick as well. It's all coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Daily Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Light Auto Glass. You've referenced a lot this year, and if you would, share the story about the book, Chop Wood, Carry Water. What's gone into that?
Well, it's a book that I had read in the past. It's an easy read, and the idea of Chop Wood, Carry Water was, I think it was an old Zen quote. It said, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, which the idea of it is like, really, at the end of the day, is be in the moment, be present, and then focus on the process, not the result. And along the way, there's 33 chapters of really great messaging. There was a samurai archer who went to learn to become one of the best samurai archers in the world. And the first, I think, 3 months, all he did was chop wood, carry water, And it's like, you have to remember what your foundation is. And the idea that, like, you don't fear the man who has 1,000 kicks. You fear the man that's done the same kick 1,000 times. And that idea is something that we needed to make sure we understood during the preseason, and even still now. Is that, like, it's not about getting to November and December and January. Like, you have to build a foundation, and you'll find out how your foundation holds up when you get to those big moments. And so, we're still in that now. We're still focused on that.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment. Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safe Light Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelight.com. Safe Light Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
Ryan, you mentioned foundation. As one of those people fortunate enough to come inside the Woody Hayes complex, how important is it to have the facility with all of the things that this shows?
More importantly, it's the people in the Woody, quite honestly. We have what we need here, but it's the people that make the difference. I tell the recruits all the time, it's not a 100,000 seat stadium or a weight room that's going to put their arm around you after a long day. And to me, it's about the people. And we have the best people in the world. Everybody in the building who has interaction with our players, from upstairs in nutrition to the folks that feed our players, to our sports medicine, to recruiting, to player development, to our coaches, to our staff. And we just have operations. We have such great people in the building, and that's what separates us, And Woody said you win with people, and that hasn't changed.
Okay, this is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Around here, it's all or nothing. And Toyota's got more all-wheel drive choices than anybody. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Corolla gas models. Excludes GR and Corolla Cross. Or lease a gas-powered 26 Corolla LE for $209 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. Columbus, October is here, and with good weather comes more home improvement projects. Do you have old, stuck, or cracked windows that you've been putting off replacing? Well, Window Nation Columbus can help. This month, when you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 more for free. There's no limit to how many windows you replace, and your total price includes 1-day installation. With Window Nation, you also won't have to make any payments for 2 years, which is a big deal with the holiday season coming up. And did I mention you could celebrate your newly upgraded home with 2 free tickets to an upcoming Ohio State football game? What other company in Columbus would thank you for replacing all your windows in your home with a fun experience like that? Put an end to your window problems before this beautiful fall weather ends. Now through October 31st, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free now, plus pay nothing for 2 years with Window Nation, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Visit windownation.com today to start your free estimate. That's windownation.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, before we get to the poll, we've got a Monday Nighter to pick. Go ahead, Bake.
That is right, and both of you could use a win tonight, that's for sure, this week. It was not a great week for any of us on anything this weekend. We've got the Washington Commanders in Kansas City taking on the Chiefs tonight. 11.5-point home favorites is KC.
If Jaden Daniels not playing right, it's Mariota.
Daniels is out.
All right, just give me the Chiefs. I'm 3-9 heading into this, by the way. NFL picks this week, so ignore what I just said and pick the Commanders, but I'll just go Chiefs.
Well, the fact that the Commanders ruled him out like last Wednesday gave me, like, even on Friday, I was like, I don't care what this is going to be on Monday. I'm taking the Chiefs. So maybe get
it's
the 5.
It's actually down one, isn't it, Reese? Wasn't it 12.5?
Yeah, I think it came down a point.
Yeah. All right, what do we got on the poll?
The Daily Fan poll's mean.
Oh, no.
Today's asks, which do you think is worse, the Browns offense or the Bengals defense? 52% say the Browns offense. I don't know, man.
I think when juxtaposed with expectations at the Bengals defense, like you scored 38. Like, geez.
Yeah, Joe Flacco saying we could have done more. I don't know.
That should have held up. Could have. You're up 2 touchdowns in the 4th. That should hold up.
Could we just combine the two and have like one team in Columbus? That'd be good.
How many like gatherings, sports bars, restaurants you think that conversation happened yesterday as you're watching these two teams just debacle after the next go? If we just combined them, they'd be okay.
Be a pretty good team.
I don't think any conversations on either of those teams yesterday were had without some pretty expletive words used in them.
Rough Sunday in the Buckeye State. All right, time for 3 things on a Monday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
Number 1 for me, and we got hit with this twice on Friday night. There is nothing more terrifying as a parent or more anxiety-riddled than the following line from a either teenager or just preteen. In this case, it was NBC and BMZ, ages 13 and now 12. Can I have a sleepover tonight? Because here's what a sleepover means in their minds. For them, a sleepover means house party. Means we can do whatever we want, stay up as late as we want, our friends can run amok in the home. It means I've got to discipline kids who aren't my own on the reg. It's pure hell. It's pure hell. I don't know what happened with the sleepover. It used to be, okay, yeah, you stay up late, you watch movies. Now it's just chaos. Like, it's just utter chaos. One thing after the other. I said no to both. My wife's like, we got to say yes to some of them. I'm like, God, why? Do we? Are you sure? It's awful.
I feel like what you guys might want to do is just have different things in your house, either under construction or out for repairs. Just at different times, yeah. Can't use what's not working. First thing for me, I usually have 2 or 3 cups of black coffee in the morning. And this was, I think, Friday. Matty Ice asked me about it because I drink a lot of coffee, and he doesn't drink coffee. And I think the conversation went, if you don't need it, don't drink it. Like, don't drink coffee, don't drink black coffee, especially because it's tasteless and awful. This morning, he asked me to make him a cup of black coffee, and I had to let it cool. So I'll be interested to see what he thinks with his maiden voyage into the worst liquid you might put in your mouth.
You don't like coffee? You don't like the taste?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, I love black.
But I drink it all the time, so.
Yeah. Huh.
Happy Sports Equinox to everyone who celebrates. And if you're wondering what a sports equinox is, that's when the major 4 North American sports leagues all have games playing on the same day. So we have Monday Night Football tonight, 11 regular season games in the NBA, 2 in the NHL, and then we've got World Series Baseball as Game 3 is tonight. And if you needed more, Major League Soccer has 2 playoff games tonight as well. Only the 32nd time we've ever had a sports equinox.
Crew tonight, right? Crew Hell is
Leg
Real
1.
tonight?
Yep.
Game. Yeah, there you go. Number 2 for me, Tim May crushes everything, but he's crushing retirement, right? Quote, still covers the Buckeyes in retirement, still works for us, still does his podcast. But when he slipped in on Friday when he joins us that he and his, quote, baby brother, who's 68, were going to the South Carolina-Alabama game because they haven't been there, haven't been to that stadium before, that's what I want. That's what I want to do in retirement. I want to go watch college football games that I've never seen. And I was texting with him afterwards. I'm so happy that you got to see a classic, and they sure did. That game was awesome.
I want to do that while I'm still working.
Yeah.
Like, I think over the next couple of years, I'm just going to pick a game every season that's out of our, like, Big Ten footprint or out of our Ohio State purview and attend, and then do it for working purposes. Maybe I can cheat the IRS and write off all the expenses. Scouting report. Second thing, so an MRI confirmed a high ankle sprain for Browns linebacker Carson Schweschinger. It's not believed to be a major one per Ian Rappaport, so he'll be reevaluated after the bye. So that's some okay news for the Browns this morning.
Charlie Weatherby, Carl Franks, Todd Barry, John Makovich, Ron Zook, Tommy Bowden, Tim Brewster, Mike Stoops, Mike Loxley. Those are the names of the 9 coaches that were fired in major college football in season before November from 2000 to 2012. That's 9 head coaches. There's already been 8 this season. My, how the times have changed.
That's what I was saying. I mean, we kind of, one of the themes of the show today is how that's just the way that it's been. Finally, number 3 for me, that's an undefeated weekend. Sun, colors, crisp. Come on. This is our best. September and October in this state. It's as good as it's going to get, kids. That was a spectacular weekend. Good job, Mother Nature.
Piggybacking off of Baker's first thing with the sports equinox, you have the Crew in FC Cincinnati at 6:45 in Ohio's Queen City. It's supposed to be scheduled for Fox Sports 1. So I think if you don't subscribe to Apple, you're still going to be able to see the black and gold and the blue and orange tonight in their first leg. You also got Dodgers and Blue Jays at 8 o'clock on Fox. Max Scherzer is toeing the rubber
Max Scherzer
for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's a crazy person. This will be a great night of sports. And the Cavs play.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I guess some things don't change that much then if Max Scherzer's still going. Right. Final thing for me, Rothman and Ice coming up next. It's another pregame edition of the show with the Great Dane and DeVere Posey. They're going to open the phone lines. The floor is yours at 1 o'clock.
There you go. We're back tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move